The wildfires in Los Angeles are getting worse. There's a photo that's going viral that just shows the Pacific Palisades are gone. If you don't know, this is a neighborhood in the Los Angeles area, and it's just been completely wiped out. There's these really sad video of James Woods breaking down in tears because of the elderly neighbors that he has, the risk to their lives, and just everyone's lives being destroyed. So, man, it's getting brutal out there. I hope everybody gets out. The death toll is now up to 5, but people expect it, officials expect it to get worse. There's actually several fires in the area right now. And the political angle here, the story, is that let's just not mince words. Several months ago, Donald Trump appeared on the Joe Rogan podcast and warned they don't have water in Southern California because of this environmental animal policy on the Delta smelt. A lot of people have been talking about it, and not to mention the issue of homeless individuals setting fires. So this has been epic mismanagement from day one. And I think it's important to point out this viral clip from Trump where he says exactly this. They're not getting the water down. And now fire hydrants are empty. Firefighters are overwhelmed. They don't have the resources to fight this fire. And I don't know what the current percentage is at, but not even that long ago, the fires in California were at 0% contained, burning for over 24 hours, spreading rapidly. It's horrifying stuff, man. We're going to break down a bunch of these stories because it's a massive. You know, you have the individual story of the fires, but then each smaller story within it, such as there's a video of power lines sparking and shooting, just bursting next to trees. Nobody doing anything about it. You've got the story of, as I mentioned, the homeless people, the failures of water, all of these things lining up. And then it gets weird. Insurance companies dropped tons of these homes, specifically covering fire insurance, between a few months and a few weeks ago. The insurance companies knew. And if they knew, the government knew. And so here we are dealing with the failures of policy, and we'll get into all that. Before we get started, my friends, head over to castbrew.com and pick up some Cast Brew coffee. Although it is no longer Christmas, 2 weeks till Christmas is still available. Though it's 2 weeks from Christmas, you can still get a bag of gingerbread coffee with a picture of Phil Labonte dressed like Santa Claus.
Is that right?
There you go. And then, of course, we've got Ian's Graphene Dream back in stock. Ian's Graphene Dream has already sold 200 bags this week. Dude, I don't know what Ian figured out with this low acidity coffee, but he sold 5,350 bags of this stuff in like 1 month. And we do small batches, meaning like we only do like 300 at a time. So the stock you see is actually the print, not the coffee itself. So we print these bags, which take like a month to 6 weeks. That's why it took so long to restock. We didn't expect Ian to sell out so much. People really love that graphene dream. They want to experience those dreams, Ian.
You will. You are right now.
I don't know if people want to go into that whatever world you're in. Also, don't forget to head over to boonieshq.com and pick up the latest 28th Amendment skateboard. This one's for all the chicken people out there. And if you are not one of those chicken people, then, oh boy, you're missing out. The 20th Amendment, chickens being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep, bear, and breed chickens shall not be infringed. And you can pick up that skateboard over at boonieshq.com. But I got to tell you, everybody's trying to buy the right to arm bears. This one surprised us. It's a grizzly bear wearing a flannel, a straw hat, and brandishing a shotgun. And we've sold like 160 of these boards in the past month. People love this one. Also, don't forget, head over to timcast.com, click join us right there. Become a member, support our work directly. All of this is possible because you guys are members, and you'll get access to the uncensored members only show coming up at 10 p.m. Monday through Thursday. You don't want to miss it. Not so family friendly, but always fun and funny. And you as members can call in and talk to us. So get in now and join over 20,000 other people all hanging out, discussing the news, calling out the fake news, calling out the lies, and shattering that narrative. Become part of the movement. Go to timcast.com. But don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, share the show with everyone you know. Joining us tonight to talk about this and so much more, we got Nick Shirley.
Thank you for having me on. I'm excited.
Who are you? What do you do?
I'm an independent YouTube journalist, go all across the world, whether it be the jails in El Salvador or the streets of New York City, talking to migrant gangs.
Wow.
Talking to everybody.
I've seen some of your clips where you're like asking people, and it's like a very dry, like, hey, what do you think about this? And then you see people sometimes freak out.
Yeah, I just ask people stuff and let them explain. They either make themselves look really good or make themselves look really bad.
Isn't it crazy that you can just do journalism? Like you can just show up and ask people the questions.
Yeah, I mean, there's an art to it. Like you have to,
right?
Like there's some ways you gotta do it, but yeah, it's pretty amazing. I love just going and talk with people.
Right on, man. It's gonna be fun. Thanks for joining us. We got Ian hanging out.
Yeah, it's good to be back, man. Thanks for having me, everybody. And also shout out to everybody that picked up a bag of Graphene Dream. That's super cool. Keep it up. That low acidity coffee is another beast. Once you have it, you realize, oh, I can handle another cup of that. a lot easier. And also, I want to thank Michaela Peterson. She sent us with her company FullerHealth.co this product called After Party.
What is it?
It's dihydromyricetin. It's an herb, or it's a chemical derived from Japanese raisins, and that they've used for years, centuries, millennia, as like an herbal supplement for like a hangover cure. I think a lot of people use it for that. So
I have a hangover cure.
You tell me more.
Not drinking.
Not drinking at all is the best cure. Yeah,
there you go.
Don't mess up. It's the best solution.
Drinking is a young man's game. I'm almost 40. I'm not going anywhere near.
Yeah, I don't really drink either. But regardless, Michaela, thank you so much for sending this to us. Michaela Peterson. It's FullerHealth.co. That's FULLER health.co.
Look at that.
And thanks again.
They should pay you for that.
You will. Head forward.
What's up, everybody? My name is Phil Labonte. I'm the lead singer of the heavy metal band All That Remains. I'm an anti-communist and a counter-revolutionary. Tim, let's go.
Here we go. It's the first. We'll start with some updates here. We have this from Forbes, California wildfire live updates. Officials say 5 dead as fires expand. We have this map here from fire.airnow.gov. Take a look at these fires that we have in the LA area. So you've got, this is the Hearst fire up north. It looks small relative to the others, but it is still very massive. And you can see it is dipping down into residential areas. So hopefully people are taking that seriously. Over here, you have the Eaton fire. There's actually now, I think, maybe even 7 different fires in the area. Although these are the major ones. You can see this. This is the Eaton fire, and it is spreading crazy. Altadena, look at this. All of this residential area stuff just being wiped out. This is crazy, man. And then, of course, we have Pasadena, which is the bulk of this. This is the Pacific Coast Highway. Absolutely nuts. Stretching into Malibu. This is crazy. I mean, and let me see. I got this photo here. Take a look at this. People are just saying the Palisades are gone. The houses are just gone. This is absolutely insane. And the worst thing about it, it is, and it was, preventable. Now we're hearing that they've been evacuating more of Santa Monica, and you've got people down in Marina del Rey, which is just south of Santa Monica, getting very worried because with 90-mile-an-hour winds blowing in, this fire may be unstoppable until it just burns itself out, whatever that means.
If this goes to Santa Monica, I mean,
it's in Santa Monica. It is already in Santa Monica.
That's like the economic, it's not the epicenter, but it's like part 2 in Los Angeles. Like Santa Monica is like the entertainment number 2 capital in the world next to Hollywood. So that is like, I mean, and you could say the Valley, but the Valley's huge. Santa Monica's a tiny little focused area of auditions and studios.
The entertainment that comes out of the Valley, Ian.
Damn, dude. Yeah. A lot of.
But this is what people need to understand. I know a lot of people who live in LA. You totally get this. People have been there. You get this. Los Angeles is tiny. But Los Angeles County is massive. And so when people talk about going to Hollywood or LA, a lot of these celebrities, they live in Santa Monica. They live in the Palisades. Some, of course, live in the Hollywood Hills, which is, more up here or whatever. You've got West Hollywood, Beverly Hills. But the Palisades, this is why James Woods is living up there. It is common for actors and celebrities in Hollywood to be living in the Palisades. The fact that it's gone is just absolutely insane.
You ever drive the Pacific Coast Highway?
Of course, dude. I used to go like every weekend. We go to Malibu.
That drive through the Palisades up into Malibu is iconic. And now, I mean, obviously you can rebuild it, but all those houses on the left, because what happens is the road goes right up the beach. It's like basically right up the ocean the entire way. And then
there's fires on the water.
If you're going north, if you're going west, to your left is all these like houses. They have beachfront property. I bet they all.
Oh yeah, look, you can see them right here. All these houses.
They're beautiful architecture,
and they're on fire. Some of them are on fire, according to
a lot of them are gone.
Left.
Right.
There's nothing left over there. And
this is PCH going into Malibu. It's not the same as Palisades, but a lot of them are burning, and you can see this.
And they haven't contained hardly any of it either. Like
I don't know. 0%,
I saw some statistics are saying.
Yeah, I think the last I saw on Fox News had 0% a couple hours ago, and that's insane.
Like how?
Well, someone tweeted that the humidity was at 0.78.
Yep.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah, it's super dry. There's tons of fuel on the ground, and there's the Santa Ana winds. Like I was talking to a firefighter friend of mine that used to do he would jump out of planes and into fires and stuff to fight fires. And he's like, "Look, man, even God isn't going to put this fire out right now. And
rains.
That's if they had water and normal things they have to fight fires, but because of mismanagement by the mayor and by the state,
dude,
they don't even have water.
This has been going on for a long time, man. Because I was down in California 10 years ago when they were dealing with the drought. And the only thing I heard was mismanagement. California's a desert. These kind of things are going to happen, and they have to plan for it, and they don't. And this is what you end up with. And now it's crazy, but I think that the truth here is these wildfires happen every year in California. We see it's wildfire season. They've mismanaged the forest floor once again. The brush fires, they've mismanaged it once again. The only issue now is that it's hit a major urban center with tons of people who live there, and these videos of people being trapped in their homes. You know, someone asked me, like, how do you get trapped in a fire? And I'm like, dude, the fire is traveling 90 miles an hour. You need to understand, with the winds blowing at that speed, you're sitting in your home, everything looks normal. Then all of a sudden you look outside and you see fire sweeping across the trees. And then you go, whoa, I don't know what I'm supposed to do right now. And so maybe you call 911 and say, hey, we're seeing fire sweep across it. Get out now. You open your door and there's an inferno in every direction. Some people end up getting trapped because of this.
So quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, there's a video of these guys running out their front door and the trees, the regular trees, are burning embers. Just like this tree was alive, and now it's so hot and the fire is so intense, the tree in front of your house is just literally a glowing ember.
You said that it was preventable. Now, and I think that's so what I've heard is that PG&E, which is I think Pacific Gas and Electric, I don't know what the P stands for, gas and electric probably, they are in charge of running the power lines, and they tend to run them through highly wooded areas and don't clear out the brush. And because of that, the brush then can catch fire if like a power line goes down or if there's a spark. And that is reliant on, I don't know if PG&E is a government company, but it's supposed to be PG&E's responsibility, or it's the government is just allowed, because it's like, hey, we need power. We're not going to make you run a line all the way around the park. So yeah, you can run it through the trees. At what risk? And then now you're saying that also the diversion of the water, which has been going on since at least the early 1900s.
Well, that's why they can't fight it. The diversion of the water doesn't really have a lot to do with why it may have started, whether it be PG&E, a PG&E line that broke and
is that what they think caused it?
I don't know. I'm only addressing what he had mentioned, which it's possible, completely and totally possible. I've heard stories that PG&E decided to not clean out the areas beneath the wires because it was not cost effective or whatever, that it would be less to, I don't know if they were talking about pay lawsuits or whatever, but I've heard that it was PG&E's fault. But at the end of the day, the state doesn't allow people to clean up or doesn't do anything to clean up the downfall and branches and brush. So at the end of the day, it does boil down to it's the state's fault because they're the ones that are supposed to be able to prevent this stuff.
California is an example of extraction. This is what happens when a beautiful state with some of the best weather, and it's massive. You go up north, you got mountains, you've got skiing and snowboarding. You go south, you got beaches. This is what happens when over a long enough period of time, good men do nothing. The government eventually gets taken over by people whose only intention is short-term extraction. When I was living in Los Angeles, everybody said NIMBY, not in my backyard. So they have what is described as it is the worst homeless crisis for the developed world in Los Angeles. And you'd ask everybody, why can't one of the wealthiest counties in the country do anything about it? Even though they spend $1 billion every year, and it's because the $1 billion goes to what they call the homeless industrial complex, where companies, nonprofits, and manufacturers take the money for themselves, don't solve the problem, and then when it comes to actual either institutionalization or affordable housing, every single well-to-do liberal type in LA goes, not in my backyard. So it never ends up getting done. Over a long enough period of time, as politicians simply extract, they tell you what you want to hear. They pass policies that increase their personal benefit. You get this. It is horrifying mismanagement. And you know the funny thing is, when you zoom out to the macro and you look at red states and red cities, you don't see it. We covered this a few years ago. You had per capita crime, all blue cities. And then when how come all of the highest crime cities are Democrat run? And they try and argue, well, it's because they're bigger. And I'm like, yeah. That doesn't mean anything. The question is, why are bigger cities more likely to be Democrat, and why are they full of crime? And if you want to argue, because they're big, they're full of crime, we're talking per capita. So you take a look at West Virginia, lower crime. Dark, deep red, regular working class people, crime is lower on average. So I got to tell you, what I see with the Democratic Party, not completely, but leaning towards, You look at a state of California, you don't need me to give you any examples. How is it possible that they don't manage their forest floors, that their fire hydrants ran out of water, the reservoirs weren't refilled, and the mayor is in Africa?
Yeah, that is crazy. She's not even there when it's all going on.
I mean,
She's
I
in
guess she's
Africa. Like, what's she doing in Africa?
I guess she's flying back, so
And aren't they understaffed on their the
Yep.
firefighters as well?
because they were too concerned about hiring too many white firefighters. 2 years ago, they reported there were too many white firefighters.
Whoa.
You saw that story?
I didn't realize. No, I didn't see that. I didn't realize
Yeah.
that there was a DEI
Yeah, here we go.
angle on it. But God,
Dude.
damn.
Now, a lot of people on the left, they're saying you can't blame the mayor for being in Africa. No, there was a warning that went out a week ago saying fires were likely. And the mayor was like, I'm out. So I got to tell you guys, I don't think Republicans are perfect. I'm not making a comment on the Republican Party as a whole. There's a lot of neocon scumbags that don't care about you. No one's going to sit here and praise Lindsey Graham. But the Democratic Party is largely a component of short-term gains, long-term losses.
Yeah.
And we're looking at it right now. And people are losing their homes, their lives. And I can't believe this map, dude.
So there are people talking about the fact that there were a lot of people that didn't have insurance because I guess there was insurance like
They cut 'em all off.
companies. They cut them all off, and there are people are making connections to the insurance CEO that was killed recently in New York.
Well, let me, I want to jump to the environment thing too, but I'll just say this before we jump to the next story. All of these liberals are saying, see, it's climate change that proves it.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, dude, you've got a guy driving your bus and we're all sitting on it and he's gone off the edge of a cliff and he's just bouncing down the hill. And you're like, bro, you drove us off the cliff and you've got to start veering to the left to try and get back on some kind of road. And he goes, no, the actual problem is that the environment is bad. So we're going to keep going the same direction. They keep saying climate change is causing this as their policies literally make it impossible to stop.
They're the most pro-climate change people as well, and it's
I
not
know.
solving it.
So it's when they say climate change is the problem, look at the fires. I'm like, bro, it's California. Where have they implemented climate change policies more than where you live? And it is you are the cause of all of this.
And the thing about climate change or the climate change angle is even if there were to be all the changes that people on the left want in the U.S., like that doesn't change what China and India are going to do. And those two countries both have 1.5 billion people. So the argument that, we need to do all these things here in the U.S. and we need to make all these changes to our infrastructure and stuff because we need to be able to fix climate change, it's not going to fix a thing, not one thing.
Let's jump to the story from the Daily Mail. Trump blames Gavin Newsom for raging California wildfires. The ultimate price is being paid. I mean, this is sad, man, but it is true. Newsom comes in for his photo op, but here's the issue. Gavin Newsom had an opportunity to address this year after year after year, warning after warning after warning, and he didn't do it. So check this out. Quote, he wanted to protect an essentially worthless fish called a smelt. By giving it less water, it didn't work, but didn't care about the people of California. Now the ultimate price is being paid. I will demand that this incompetent governor allow beautiful, clean, fresh water to flow into California. He is the blame for this. On top of it all, no water for fire hydrants, not firefighting planes, a true disaster. As of this moment, Gavin Newsom and his LA crew have contained exactly 0% of the fire. It is burning at levels that even surpassed last night. This is not government. I can't wait until July 20th, Trump wrote. No water in the fire hydrants, no money in FEMA. This is what Joe Biden is leaving me. Thanks, Joe. Well, check this out. Here's a clip from Colin Rugg. He says Trump was mocked for sounding the alarm on the California water fire crisis during his interview on Joe Rogan. Turns out he was right. Trump spent nearly 7 minutes ranting about the issue, blasting Newsom for doing nothing. Take a look at this clip. We'll play a little bit of it.
But let me give you one that you may not know.
Okay.
Which I think you know everything, actually, as a student of yours. But water, in Los Angeles, you can't get proper amounts of water.
Right.
And it's unbelievably expensive. And you might have a house in Beverly Hills, and they're actually thinking about rationing water. Can you believe it?
I can believe
And
it.
I was in the farm court country with some of the congressmen. We're driving up a highway, and I say, how come all this land is so barren? It's farmland, and it looked terrible. It was just brown and bad. I said, but there's always that little corner that's so green and beautiful. They said, we have no water. I said, do you have a drought? No, we don't have a drought. I said, why didn't you have no water? Because the water isn't allowed to flow down. It's got a natural flow from Canada all the way up north of water, more water than they could ever use. And in order to protect a tiny little fish, the water up north gets routed into the Pacific Ocean. Millions and millions of gallons of water gets poured. You got to see this. We're driving up, and I had never seen it before. It's like Iowa. It's the most fertile land. Iowa's blessed with great land. Idaho for a potato, right?
Yeah.
But they're just, by the way, some land is good for a potato, some land is good for corn. It's the craziest thing. I love the farmers. They're great. They're the greatest. And by the way, they're getting killed right now.
They are.
They're getting killed because of this stupid administration. But so I see this.
And Obama.
And I said, you got to be kidding. I said, you mean you have water? And I looked at it. It's like a valve in your sink, except it's massive. The thing's 5 times taller than your ceiling.
Did you know the center of California was a giant lake?
That's true too, but instead of going off on that tangent, let me show you this. When we zoom out, he's talking about the Delta area. It's in the Bay. And so you come up here and so the issue is basically this. All of this water right here is pushing into the Pacific. So you can see fresh water up here, and you've got brackish water here in the Bay, and then you've got ocean water. So for those that aren't familiar, I assume most of you are, but brackish is kind of the mix between fresh and salt water. So what ends up happening is they can have all of this beautiful, beautiful water that flows from up north come down south and alleviate a lot of these problems, which can be used for firefighting. But you don't really need to rely on fresh water for firefighting, but would give you large reservoirs, which can be used, of course. And it would make sure it would deal with the poorer communities in the east if they could get this water down here. The issue is that if they stop the flow of water into the Delta, then the pressure stops and ocean water pushes in, turning the Delta brackish and killing off all the farms. It's not just about the fish. The excuse used, of course, is that it would kill off all the Delta smelt. That is largely the reason, because they could still create a dam or some kind of system that would prevent the ocean water from coming in and wiping out the Delta. They don't do it. And I think it's not just the fish. That's the point I'm trying to make. Is that the state doesn't have willpower. Long-term investment is not within the minds of your average Democrat governor or state.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of the fact that without the flow from outside that the brackish water would move further inland. But still, I mean, they if they're siphoning the water off so that way it helps farmers, that to me seems like it would probably be some kind of lobbying issue. It is. The lobbyists are doing it, and that means that the people that have lost their homes, those people are wealthy people, and they have means. And it should inspire them to tell the politicians, look, I'm not donating to your candidate, to your campaign now because you allowed my house to be burned down.
It's going to be very interesting to see how the people in these areas react, because when we had the hurricane in North Carolina, the communities all rallied together. But in California, I lived there once, and it felt like everybody's you versus me. So it's like, and you don't even know who was living next to you.
Nobody's from California.
Yeah, and so it's going to be interesting to see, like, do these people hurry and get together and they do whatever they can and get these donations running or whatnot, or is it going to be every person for themselves?
I think it's not. I don't want to be so callous because,
or are they just going to move out and just abandon whatever they had left?
They're going to move out, like Maui. Mm-hmm. You know what do we see? Like these big celebrities who had land there, just like, I'm out, because they're rich, right? When you look to the areas that are being affected in LA where there's poorer people, because Palisades is not all rich people, of course, there's some, it's expensive. These people can't do anything. The rich people are going to be, I look at them and I feel for them, because your home is your home. It doesn't matter if you're rich or poor. Your home is your home. Losing your home is devastating. But they are still going to survive this. And so I don't want to be so callous, because James Wood was saying that, it really warmed his heart to see that it wasn't political, that it's Democrat, Republican, none of it mattered. They were neighbors helping each other survive this disaster. And that's what I'm hoping we get out of it. However, as to what Phil was saying with like donations, these people, I don't see them, like Mark Hamill, for instance. I think his home may have been affected by this. But these are the kind of people that don't read into it, right? This is what Jimmy Dore made a really great point on trusting your doctor. He has that bit. It's epic, and you should hear it, where he's like, they kept saying during COVID, don't look into it. And he's like, that's insane. Imagine doing that with literally anything else. Like, I'm going to go buy a car. Don't look into it. Well, how am I supposed to know which car's the right one? Trust the salesman. He's the expert. It's brilliant. But this is how Democrats largely operate. And again, I'm not trying to roast literally every single Democrat, but this is what's going to happen. They're going to come out and they're going to say, this is climate change's fault, and Trump wants to drill for oil, and it's going to make this worse. And you're like, my dude, you had no water, and you didn't manage the floor of the ground in the hills. You didn't do floor management for the wildlands. And they're going to go, climate change. You're going to say PG&E has power cables running through areas with high risks of fire, and they're going to go climate change. And we're going to okay, California, do your thing, I guess. But they're going to blame Trump for it. They're going to keep pushing nonsense ideas, and like I was saying, you were saying, Phil, about donations.
Yep.
They're still going to donate. There's two ways I see this: them saying, "Don't know, don't care. I got hurt, and it's your fault." Or they're going to say, this proves it. Climate change is the problem. Please stop Donald Trump, the man who warned us about our lack of water in this area 3 months ago. Insanity.
They'll twist it and make somehow it be Trump's problem, whatnot. But Gavin Newsom has literally been in there for the past few years, and every single time he has the opportunity to help out the people, whether it be the fentanyl crisis, to stop giving the people needles and stop giving them $600 a month to be able to keep buying drugs while they live on the street, or the migrants coming through the border. Every single time he's had a chance to do something, he has gone against the majority of the people that would benefit.
So is it so hard to believe that these Democrats are intentionally trying to destroy the country? I mean, that even defies short-term gain. You can make the argument that he's like, we're going to give needles and what do they have, those glass pipe kits they give out to homeless people to do crack?
Mm-hmm.
He's like, we're going to do that because it's politically expedient. I get through it. I say, we solved the problem. Thank you and have a nice day. Not going to think about it. But I'm kind of like, I don't know, man. That's not a short-term gain. You're literally setting a political fire.
The politics of nice have been a massive problem for the United States. And that's why Donald Trump, I think, was successful in his first term, or was as successful as he was. Whatever amount of success you believe he had, which generally around this table we have a fairly positive view of what he did. And that's because he didn't ascribe to the politics of nice. He wasn't worried about if it sounded nice. And there are so many people, particularly in California, that all of their politics is, I just want to be nice, and I want to do the nice thing. I want to be the good person. So we should give that drug addict the drugs that he needs to prevent withdrawal, and we should allow those homeless people to stay homeless and shoot up drugs, and we should let people that are repeat offenders out of jail because there might have been some kind of problem. That was business as usual in California for ages and ages. And there are real world tangible consequences to the politics of nice. And now, thankfully, for California, there are people that have voted significantly against the politics of nice.
Remember when we were this close to getting Governor Larry Elder?
Yeah.
This wouldn't have happened.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Would not have happened. And they teamed up to shut him down. Larry Elder.
I don't know how they're going to solve for this wildfire thing. Because maybe you could use ocean water and drones. We talked about that before the show. I think it was
Well, not drones. You could use planes.
gigantic.
No,
that can just constantly scoop and dump.
Yes. Here's the issue: the winds are at 100 miles an hour.
So getting any flight is like a challenge.
It's extreme challenge. It's very difficult for the smaller aircraft to fly here. So this is they were reporting. They had a first responder on Fox News in the morning saying helicopters can't fly, not in these winds, and fixed wing aircraft have a higher threshold, but it's still too intense. They have been sending in flights now, and there's some really great videos of them just dumping water on the fire. I'm glad to see.
Other solutions could be like putting the power lines underground, because I always look at these power lines thinking of them as massive vulnerabilities. Anybody can blow them up. Anybody can knock them down. They can catch fire. Like
Adam Carolla was saying that. He said he was talking about it on his show, and the next thing he knows, he looks outside, or he sees this photo of a power line being knocked over.
I was living in Venice, and it would just buzz outside my window. The salt water just causing chaos.
Well, there's no underground with Venice.
So
you mean Venice, California?
California. I was just watching a documentary on Venice, Italy today. It's fascinating how they built that city. On big wooden pipes.
Sometimes you walk the streets of LA and you wonder if you're in South America or if you're in America.
You are correct.
It's just the power lines. Like, you don't see that everywhere.
Bro, when I was in Brazil in the favelas, the power lines are really scary.
Oh,
it's a
wow.
black cluster of tangled things hanging from like a post. And you're like, how does anyone connect anything to that thing? And like, if it fell down, ain't nobody going to figure out how to fix it.
So you got the power lines, obviously, which is probably the biggest culprit of setting the fires, maybe. But then the water, like how do you got to get water? They built the city in the desert because it was a nice environment. But now you got a city in the desert that relies on imports.
Well, they had river water coming in, and the city is just growing beyond its capabilities. And
the LA River,
look,
it's like some years there's no water.
Wildfires happen. Wildfires happen. If you want to have a population of 13 million people spread out across an area that has a high potential for wildfires, you have to have forest floor management. I guess it's not a forest, it's brush floor or whatever. But let me pull up this video right here. We got this tweet from Kyle Zink. He says, this is our neighbor's backyard in LA right now. Power lines sparking against trees. Neighbor and I have been trying to call 911 and fire department for 45 minutes with no answer, as instructed by power company. Yes, a lot is going on, but the city is failing us. Check this video out.
I mean,
for those who are just listening, it's a fireworks show.
What is causing that?
The power lines are just sparking like crazy on a tree.
So you think a base station blew up and now all these power lines are just discharging?
I have no idea.
That's what Serge is saying.
There was a lot of there was a story like this several years ago, like 10 years ago maybe, where there was a fire and it was something like a power line sparked and landed on the ground.
Another problem with people being on a grid, man, an electric grid, relying on a central battery that can explode and then discharge across all your lines and set fires and sparks and
well, what do you do?
outages.
I mean, I do think we need to. I read this really funny op-ed a while ago about how the oldest functioning infrastructure machine in the United States is the power grid. It was a machine that was built in like the early 1800s, early 1900s, and we've never replaced it.
Yep.
It's just one big, massive machine where there's several areas of weak parts.
Yep.
Obviously, when we build new stuff, it's up to code, but it's all connected to this very old system.
We'll use the Elon's boring company to drill holes to pass graphene wiring underground. We got it. We need to just weather the storm and get there.
Tesla's wireless energy transmission.
Ooh.
Which I don't know if is actually real.
You would send it through the ground.
Yeah.
And cause earthquake. I don't know if there's the same tech. He
earthquakes.
caused an earthquake in lower New York, in lower Manhattan. And
Did he really, though? Is that
the cops came and checked it out. It's a great story. Yeah, his earthquake machine that he was building. He was all about sending electricity through the ground because the air, there wasn't enough contact in the air.
I think what we're seeing with this stuff, with the power lines with California, is sooner or later it was going to happen. You've got way too many people in an area where no one takes responsibility.
So short-term gain, short-term loss. So you think the politicians are thinking like, if we did hire people to clear out the brush, it's going to cost us 30% GDP, whatever the hell. What
happens is Newsom says, guys, we got a problem with this brush floor. The tinder is building up. Can we clear it out? And they go, we could. It'll cost $30 million. And he goes, fine. It's better than $1 billion in damage. And then someone's at the door. Open it up. There it is. Greenpeace, Sierra Club, Environment America. And they're like, you ain't touching nothing. Because no matter what you do, we're going to lobby against you. And so the arguments that I've heard is that environmental organizations put pressure on the government to oppose the actions they want to take for whatever reason, just like the Delta smelt. They say, there's a fish that lives here, and you cannot take its water away.
When it comes to the smelt, this is I wouldn't have said this 20 years ago, but like sometimes you got to let some animals go extinct to preserve the human species. It's a sad utilitarian.
Is the smelt going to go extinct though? I mean, it might kill them.
Well, the specific Delta smelt. No, because they can create sanctuaries before they switch the flow off. They just won't do it. Look, Alex Jones came on the show a few years ago and was talking about that book. Was it Ishmael?
Yeah.
And that's why we have the shirt on the Timcast store of the gorilla saying, I am a gorilla, because the point was in this book, the gorilla is basically a psychic gorilla. I never read that.
Yeah, it's a great book. I read it. Daniel Quinn is the writer.
He's telling people that they're destroying the planet. Is that what it is?
Yeah, he's telling this guy about how humanity is kind of destroying itself. There's the levers and the takers, and there's too many takers on Earth right now.
I don't think it's wrong to say there's too many takers. I think most people would agree. There are a lot of people who extract. They think they deserve everything, and they're required to do nothing. And it's fascinating that it is, in fact, largely communists, and they're the ones saying to each according to their needs, from each according to their means. And I'm like, you ain't doing nothing. You're taking more than you need, and you're giving back nothing.
Remember that time the Soviet Union destroyed an entire sea?
No.
Yeah, the Soviet Union emptied out a whole sea.
They did?
What's it called?
Remember when they murdered millions of people because they didn't care for the Ukrainians and took all their food?
I heard the Holodomor. Yeah, Holodomor.
That was
man-made famine.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, they were basically like ethnic Ukrainians don't need food, Russians do, so they took all their food.
Oh, that's so crazy.
That's yeah.
And they called the people that had a little bit of ability to farm, that had like a cow and a farm. They said that they had stolen that from the people. Like these people knew how to actually farm, and so they took their cow, they took their farms, and they said, "You people should die first because you stole from the people." So that when they killed the farmers, there was the famine that killed millions of people.
So someone said they said, no, Tim, the smelter are migrating fish. They live in rivers, not bays. They need moving water to survive. You know, I'm just going to say it. Who was it? What was that line from Fight Club about pandas being too stupid to bang each other for their own species? You remember?
No, I don't remember.
Like for every panda that was too stupid to have sex to save its own species. It's like, dude, some animals aren't supposed to exist. And this is the crazy thing. The liberal mentality, they want you to believe that, and I love this. The group that views the world predominantly through the lens of evolution doesn't accept evolution. They're going to tell, you have Christians who believe in creationism. I personally don't. I believe in evolution. And then you have liberals who are like, evolution. And you're like, okay, well, the smelter are going to go extinct because they're dumb and they live in an area where they can't survive. And they're like, nah, we will use man-made artificial power to keep them alive and then let everyone in Southern California burn. It kind of sounds like you hate humans.
There's a heat map that I've seen shared on.
I saw that
on X, and
Yep.
people that are conservative, the heat map, it's a preference of people that are close to you or an abstraction of people. People that are conservative, the heat map is all the people that are close to them. The heat map shows that they prefer people that are close to them, their families, their community, their loved ones, and the left or progressive people, the heat map says that all the people they prefer are people that are an abstraction, people that are far away from them, other cultures, and the people that are close they hate.
It's like they want to accept everyone but protect nobody.
Well,
Right,
I mean,
yeah.
right. Let me see if I can find it. I'll go.
The moment they bring you into the fold, they're like, yeah, we don't care about you.
Yeah, and then the moment you do something wrong, you're excommunicated. Like,
I mean, it is
say
funny.
once you go woke, they just like there's
Like, once you're an apostate from wokeness.
yeah, like there's no family in wokeness.
Yeah.
No.
You mess up once and you're done.
There's no going back to sleep.
They don't believe in planting trees whose shade they know they will not sit beneath. And you know why? It's because they don't have kids.
It's more than just that. That's a big
largely
part of
it.
it, yeah.
People, when that dude, Mangione, shot the CEO, first thing I said was, he's single, he's got no kids.
Of course.
Come on, like a dude who's got kids is substantially less likely to go and do something insane like that. Because he's going to be like, as angry as I am, I have children, and they need me to feed them.
Also, I think they're like embedded in TV. I think like entertainment, they're embedded in entertainment. Like they got their television, their sports, they got their TV shows, their
If you're watching
internet.
the show, tweet, and you know that heat map that I'm talking about, tweet it at me so I can share it here. I can't find it.
Because it's easy to disassociate from your neighbors if you got like your community online, or if you've got your TV show guy telling you what to do, and your 50 cents a day you're sending to Africa to give some kid a cup of coffee or whatever those old shows were. I don't know for sure. Lack of kids is probably the number one reason. Also, not owning property. For me, I think
Here we go.
Once you own your land, there's a big reason to take care of it.
Owning anything.
Yeah, any kind of ownership.
Even car ownership, like that's
Oh, dude, you see the video of that leftist woman who gets her phone stolen? And then she's arguing with the homeless people, being like, come on, like, I'm not rich. Like, I'm a good person. Can you give me my phone back? And they're like, screw you. And she's like, but, like, steal from rich people. Oh, yeah, Now you're getting it, right?
yeah. Fire doesn't care what it burns.
That's right.
You light a fire, it spreads in every direction, man. And we're on Earth, so it's only 2 dimensions.
I can't believe the leopards ate my face, says man who voted for leopards eating your face party.
I.
Oh, you found the heat map?
Yeah, I did.
You sent it to me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want me to put it in the Slack?
Yeah.
Okay.
We will pull up the why liberals hate everybody map. Is that what it is?
Well, it shows the difference between liberals and progressives. It's in the IRL.
Okay, liberals and progressives.
Well, I'm sorry, conservatives
Conservatives.
and progressives. So the center, the one on the left is conservatives, the one on the right is liberals, and it shows that the conservatives care for their family and the people in their lives and their community, and the
Liberals devote much of their concern to plants, trees, and inert identities such as rocks.
There's this great.
Well, I wish that were true
There's
because they'd protect ancient relics and things like that.
You'd think there's a meme that you see frequently. It's like, oh, the communists are siding with the bugs again. Anytime you put up a Starship Troopers meme, people are like, well, blah blah blah, and it's like, yeah, look, the communists are siding with the bugs again because they're creepy and weird like that.
Maybe what we need to do is we need to have like an Ozymandias, Dr. Manhattan style hoax where the smelt we stage a false flag where the smelt attack the Delta.
Yeah.
And then we have no choice but to divert the water to stop the evil threat of smelt.
Like a smelt eats a guy, like the smelts attack a dude, and it's like
Smelt carry COVID. Mm-hmm. Let's just tell everybody that. Oh yeah, the smelt.
smelts carry disease.
Oh yeah.
It's like kind of like shaking someone awake to the harsh reality that some things have to die. And it's like a horrible thing to say, but like some creatures, like on Mars, when we start terraforming and colonizing Mars, if there's a hostile life form, a bacteria, some protozoa, some microorganism, we will wipe that out. We're not thinking twice.
Oh, right.
Self-preservation is number one. And it sucks that we've colonized a desert. Maybe that was a human mistake, but we're about to colonize Mars, which is another form of desert.
I love it's like when I see a stink bug in here, they're harmless. They're smelly, so I don't like them. But, we'll scoop them up and we'll bring them outside. If I see anything that looks remotely like a venomous insect, it dies.
Even ants, man, I crush them.
Yeah,
If they don't stink, I'd like to take them outside, but it's such a lot of effort.
It depends on if there's like a ton of ants.
to walk
and you've got,
outside.
Yeah.
If there's like a bunch of ants, then you got to stop
You gotta
them.
get
because
rid of them.
Yeah, the pheromone trails and all that stuff.
If it's one, it might be a scout.
I'll scoop it up and I'll just throw it in the garbage or something.
Okay.
And it's like, I don't know. Ants are a different story. They're kind of just,
I like them, but
eh.
I
No,
don't
but
treat them like stink bugs.
yeah, we
smell,
got
so I
we
don't
got
care.
crickets all in here. We just bring them outside. We throw them outside. And we could also collect them and give them to chickens.
Yeah.
That's just, food chain, right?
should build
But
the
if it
cricket
in
chute.
any way is a threatening bug, it dies.
Yeah.
Let's just say that the smelt have stingers and they will sting you.
Poisonous venom gills.
Just tell them the smelts hate Trump.
No, they vote Trump.
They vote Trump.
The smelt are Trump voters.
Yeah. So
Got to
They'll be
divert
gone.
the Delta.
They'll
they
be
have to be
gone.
killed.
It's this diverting water away from San Francisco Bay. If that's going to destroy the bay and annihilate the farms of San Francisco, that's a problem. That's insurmountable.
Well, let's bring this to the class argument. We got this story from Newsweek. California insurer canceled policies months before Los Angeles wildfires. This is weird. Politico reports LA fires could break California's insurance market. So how is it that 4 months ago and up to a few weeks ago, there's an insurer, there's a couple of them, I think a bunch of them actually, in Malibu and Palisades in Los Angeles that abruptly canceled fire insurance. There's a video of a woman at a house. Fox News interviews her, and she's like, 2 weeks ago, they canceled fire insurance, and now here we are. What did these insurance companies know, and when did they know it?
They probably knew what we've all known for 15 years, which is California's a tinderbox. And
Mismanaged.
Maybe they knew something, though, particular about this year. But I know, like, what was it, 2018, I think.
If I ever heard,
no, go ahead.
if I ever heard that there's a possibility of even fire hydrants not getting water if a fire were to break out, I'd probably uninsure the people as well.
But like at some point,
But so what I heard, I heard that there's a
And it's
law.
understaffed too.
There was a law saying that the insurers could not raise premiums by a certain amount. And so the insurance company said, okay, then we can't cover the cost of insurance. Canceled.
that's wild because they're like, if the flood insurers of Florida or the hurricane, the people that insure like for flooding, and I know that's a big hot point too. Like there's a lot of companies that just won't insure for flood damage in Florida because of the hurricanes. But if they were to pull out right before hurricane season, that's why we have government to prevent private companies from just pulling it over on people.
The reason that the companies ended all the insurance or whatever, they canceled the insurance policies is because they did an assessment of the situation. Insurance companies aren't in the business of losing money, right? And if they look at the situation, they see that the government is not managing the area properly, and there's like a likelihood that there's going to be a fire, and there's a likelihood that it's going to cause massive damage, and a fire like this, ostensibly in that area, could put an entire insurance company out of business, right? Like you're talking billions and billions of dollars in damage. right? It could totally put an insurance company out of business. So they canceled those policies, not because they're like some evil insurance company like the left thinks, but they looked at the situation and they said, the state is not handling their job. They're not taking care of the forest areas or the brush. And so this is too great of a risk. The same reason they cancel those is the same reason that there are people that get into 5, 6, 7 accidents with a boatload of speeding tickets that can't get car insurance because you're just too much of a risk. You know, that's the long and short of it. They look at the situation and they say, we can't take this risk on because if there were a fire, like what's going on now, it could literally put our entire company out of business because of the paying out of all of these policies. So they canceled the policies because they couldn't handle the risk, which is completely normal when it comes to how insurance works.
Serge just sent me a list from Twitter of fires in California, one of the big ones, and this is, we got one 2020, 2018, 2017, 2016, but then before that it was 2009. So it was in 2016 you started seeing them every year for a while. There's probably some big degradation going on. And then 2009, 2008, 2007, back all the way to 03 and so on, 93, 91. So, I mean, maybe there's been a string of fires in the last 7 years, although I guess 21, 22, and 23 we looked pretty clear.
So according to Newsweek, they say State Farm, one of the biggest insurers in California, canceled hundreds of homeowners' policies last summer in the Pacific Palisades, the same area ravaged by the wildfire. The move was justified by the company as an attempt to avoid financial failure, as the frequency and severity of wildfires is growing in the Golden State, especially in at-risk zones. But as multiple fires currently are burning through Southern California, causing devastation, many will likely need to rely on their insurers, yada, yada. We get the point. I wonder, do you think it's possible that the mismanagement is intentional so that they can justify their climate change policies?
Damn.
Oh,
Would you put it past
you'd hope
communists
not. You'd hope not.
to be like, let's do everything we can so that there's wildfires, we can then claim it's climate change and it's Trump's fault?
I mean, how could you claim climate change too in California where they literally try everything they can to protect climate change and
because they're dumb enough to believe it.
I mean, you have a point.
The idea of intentionally destroying an area to recoup it is not far off. I don't know. I feel like they're doing that in Ukraine. They're just decimating it to rubble so that BlackRock can rebuild it and own a portion of it or something.
I don't know that I think that they're doing it in order to blame climate change because they have ample excuses for climate change. You know, everything, whether it be there's an entire season of hurricanes that they blame on climate change. Every year there's these fires. I don't think they need to have a more dramatic a more dramatic catastrophe so that way they can blame climate change. I think they'll blame climate change no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
And
it'll rain and they'll claim it's climate change.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what happens. They're going to blame climate change.
Remember when there was a storm in D.C. and the storm sirens went off and AOC was like, "This is climate change."
It was a tornado.
Like, dude, there's a tornado. Like it's the funny thing is there are storm sirens because tornadoes do happen in the area, and she was like, "This is climate change." No, we installed the storm sirens because this is common, actually. Yeah. It doesn't happen all the time, but it's like we know it happens.
I mean, dude, there was a tornado in New England maybe like 10 years ago, and which is, you think New England because it's all hills and stuff. You'd think that they wouldn't happen at all, but there was. They can happen just about anywhere. But it's still, I don't think that they need an excuse. They're just going to blame climate change. And like I said earlier, look, if you really are concerned with climate change and you really think it's something that's going to destroy the earth and the seas are going to boil away, then you should be lobbying for us to invade China and invade India and take them over and institute actual policies that will stop their burning of coal and dung and all of the
That's what I find the stupidest thing about climate change is we have these other countries, other places where literally their populations are 3 times as large. And if you watch the videos, it's like there's like no controls on what they're doing, like all these buses, everything, like they're emitting all these things.
I'm kind of happy we live the way we do. Because these countries, if you look at the videos out of China where it's just smog everywhere.
Oh, I'm extremely happy we live in America.
And so we're looking at these countries. For once, I'd love to see Greta Thunberg say, "How dare you?" to China. Mm-hmm. Just one time. You know what I mean? How dare you? She said she goes to Europe and she's like, you got rid of plastic straws and you're all drinking out of chemical paper. How dare you? And we're like, China is the one that's dumping everything in the water, dude.
Yeah.
Come on.
Southeast Asia is where all of the plastic that is in the Pacific Ocean, all of it comes from Southeast Asia. It's all coming from China and the islands and stuff like
Is that like an actual
Yeah. If there, I have a picture that I'll.
huge majority comes out of Asia?
There's a third, like there's more people that live in a circle over Southeast Asia that includes China and India. There's more human beings that live inside that circle than live outside of it. And I have a picture. I'll find the picture.
I sort of feel like complaining about climate change is complaining about how poop stinks. Like, okay, we all get it. It stinks. People are gonna poop. You can't make them stop. People are going to create waste. You can't make them stop. People are going to burn wood. Can't make them stop. They're going to burn coal. They're going to burn gas and oil. Can't stop them. Unless, like Phil said, you want to militarily invade and stand there on the corner with rifles and say you can't do it.
No,
they're going to do it. So we need to
gotta-
figure out how to reuse the stuff,
Here's-
waste product, not stop making the stuff or complain about it.
Here's what I want Trump to do. He's going to set up something called the Review. And in every city, there will be a building where you are required by appointment to show up. And then they just ask you a simple question like, what are your thoughts on climate change? And then they're going to say, oh, I think it's bad. And it's like, do you think that we should ban the use or restrict the use of oil? Yes. Okay, boys. And then a bunch of guys come in, strip them of all of their petroleum-based clothing, take away the keys to their car, seize their vehicle, go to their house, strip it down, and can live in a mud hut. I'm joking. The point is, all of these well-to-do liberal types that are like, but climate change. There's a hilarious video where you've got these, what are those protesters? They block the streets, whatever.
I keep seeing those.
Palestine protesters?
No. The energy ones. The
The climate.
yeah.
Oh,
Extinction Rebellion?
Yeah.
the orange.
And there's a guy, and he's like, you're wearing a jacket made from petrochemicals. Like, it's a petroleum-based plastic jacket with plastic synthetic filling. Like, literally all of you are doused in oil, and you're sitting here complaining about it. It is the most ridiculous, stupid stuff. I tell you this. If you want to complain about oil, we start with you. Okay? No more oil? Fine. First thing is, if you want to complain about oil, you're allowed to. That was always allowed. If you actually want to implement policy and make us change, you have to abandon all oil products first.
if you want to check out, I put up the
tweet it
picture.
out?
Well, I put it in the Slack, in the Timcast
cool.
IRL Slack.
I just don't like how they make, like, I remember in school they were telling us, like, oh, by 2030, New York City will be underwater. And it's like, I go to New York City and it still looks just fine. So it's like
The Maldives.
And
Yeah.
I'm also like, I also think like things are just gonna happen. Like you can't stop all forest fires. Like,
Well, you know,
it's inevitable that they're gonna happen. It's like a process of
how old are you?
22.
22. So when you said when you were in school, how long ago was it?
I remember
45 minutes.
no, I remember like elementary school and they're telling you like by 2030 or whatnot. Like,
Right. I know, but that's
so
still
it's
like what, 10 years
15
ago?
Yeah. So
Bro, 25 years ago.
were they telling you guys
I'm
this stuff as
38.
well? Were they telling-
Yes.
Yes.
Dude,
It's like nothing's
I'm
changed.
going to be 50 this year.
And they were telling you that too?
They were telling me by the time 2000 came around, when I was in grade school, or when I was in before, like 89, 88, when I had just got into high school, if we don't fix climate change, if we don't fix global warming, it was back then, all the snow caps are going to be gone. There's a movie called An Inconvenient Truth that Al Gore, former vice president, made, and it came out in 2006, and he was swearing up and down that by 2020, 5 years ago, swearing up and down by 2020, the ice caps were going to be gone and the seas were going to rise. A massive problem with people my age listening to this garbage is we've been hearing the same garbage for literally 25 years, like Tim said, 30 years. So it's like, you're full of crap.
Mm-hmm.
The evidence is that none of the stuff that you've been saying for 30 years has come to fruition at all. So why am I going to listen to you now?
Yeah, they give you models, but they don't take into account mitigating circumstances a lot of times. Like things will change, technologies will be invented that will redirect the path that you're looking at in 30 years from now. So don't panic. That's the biggest thing is don't panic. Don't create alarmism. Maybe you want to ring the alarm, but like do it with a purpose, with like a solution.
But they should be saying, it's up to you to solve for this problem. Good luck. Instead of saying, the end is nigh, sorry, bye.
Yeah,
they should be
don't
saying,
scare people.
here's a problem we're facing, but we believe in you. And if you guys work hard enough, we will find a way through this.
I think we can find symbiosis with the climate, but it does take a global effort. Like if the Chinese and the Indians are going to burn untold amounts of methane and carbon, than what we can't.
They burn dung. A lot of people in India still burn dung because India is still like basically a third world country. Like there are parts of India that are modern.
Sorry, do you mean like cow dung?
Yeah. Well, I'm actually
Probably
not sure
human
if it's,
feces.
I'm not
I
sure if
wouldn't be
it's cow
surprised.
because they look at cow as sacred. So it might not be cow.
But the poop, I don't think.
I don't know. I don't want to offend.
And they use a
any
lot of
Indians.
kerosene. A lot of places. Still.
I mean, I don't know, but the point that I'm making is they're when they're burning waste like that, that's because the options they have are very limited. So like you've got burning, they're burning wood, burning dung, burning, some places are burning coal and stuff. And like I said,
Plastic,
there's
probably.
1.5 billion in India. Maybe 500 million of them live in modern cities and stuff like that. That means there's 1 billion people that are still in the tribal areas, that are living in the rural areas, that don't have reliable indoor plumbing, that don't have, they're living like they did 500 years ago. And in China, there are fewer people that are living out in the wilderness like the Indians, but there are still a large portion of China. They're poor people and they live on farms and they got to do what they got to do to heat their homes because China has weather just like everywhere else in the world. So it's not like if you fix America and if you just get everybody to change their lights to LED lights, we're going to solve climate change. Or even if you get everybody to buy electric cars. And I'm not against electric cars. I love mine. I got a Tesla. I think it's the coolest thing in the world. I love it. I got a solar array on my house in New Hampshire. I love it. It's great. I'm not against this stuff. But the idea that you can just flip the switch and say, here, everybody go to this now, that's not happening.
No, and if there's a solar flare, you got to burn oil. Like you need combustion. You can't rely on batteries constantly forever.
Bro, there will be a time in our future where I don't know if Tesla will do it, but these electric cars, you're going to sit down in your car, the doors are going to lock, and it's going to be like, I'm sorry, I can't let you drive the car, Phil. Your carbon emissions have been too high this week.
Only if you live in Canada.
Stop breathing.
Oh,
Phil.
everywhere, man.
We took a driverless car.
Canada, don't they have a carbon tax?
Probably.
They might, yeah.
You probably have a white privilege tax as far as I
No,
can tell.
I'm pretty sure they do.
Carbon consumption, you get taxed on it.
Yeah, you get taxed on your amount of carbon you emit into the
Emissions. It's
Yeah.
based
Oh,
on
did you guys
emissions.
see the congestion fee now
Oh,
in New York? Yeah, it's like
scam.
$9. Is it-
$9 for cars, yeah.
For
but
what?
not- like
And then
per
for-
day or per week or what?
every time
Every
you pass
time.
every time you pass the street, and then if-
What?
Yeah.
What street?
like once you enter into downtown
into lower-
Manhattan,
lower
like
Manhattan.
I think 60th Street, you get charged $9. But the stupid thing is these service companies as well that have like the plumbers, the electricians, they have to be they're charging them anywhere from like 15, like I think like $35 or $25. So, they're trying to stop the flow of traffic. Meanwhile, they're just gonna cause the prices.
They
to go
want
very-
people to
Take a look
use
at
the
this real quick.
subway.
Check it out. This is New York City drivers trying to TikTok to share illegal hacks to dodge $15 congestion fee. I thought it was $9. This is from Car Scoops.
It's $9 for if like me and you were to drive in, but it goes up for different sorts of different
Vehicles.
cars. Yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah, collecting from most drivers. So I've been seeing these reports where people are now they've always had this stuff where you can put this like epoxy over your license plate. So to the human eye, it looks normal. But when you take a picture with a flash, it just blurs out white. And so New York posted this article where they're like, the congestion fee has resulted in people smashing their license plates, bending them so the cameras can't AI scan the number, or scratching out one of the numbers, or they do a thing where they stick a leaf. They use like a light adhesive so it can peel right off, and they put a leaf on it so you can't see one number. That way they can be like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize a leaf was on my license plate. It's not my fault. Because they don't want to pay this fee.
I mean, it's ridiculous. They're already paying so much money in taxes, and then every single day, like they give $12 million to migrants in New York City.
Right?
They want everybody
for
to go
the
into the subway and get
And
lit
the
on
subway's
fire.
dangerous.
Have you seen the photos and the videos of people all hugging the walls now?
Oh man,
subway?
in,
No.
the, in the New York City subways. So I'll tell you, when I used to take the subway in New York, I would always stay the F away from the edge. Because, listen, it wasn't that it was the most prominent thing where people were being shoved in front of trains, but there was always 4 or 5 crazy guys spitting and yowling and shaking. And I'm like, you just never know. I've seen fights break out. Then with all of the people, did you guys see that video from like last week where the dude is on his phone and then some dude just walked up and shoves him right in front of a train.
Yeah, he survived.
Crazy.
That guy did. I
Yup.
heard.
Critical injuries, but he
They
survived.
found the guy that pushed him.
Yup.
Thank God.
And why did he do it? So now there are these videos and photos popping up where it's everybody's just up against the wall.
Good.
Bro, I'm not.
No, dude.
No, it's
we
sad.
shouldn't have to
Adapt.
live this way.
Yeah, really.
And I wonder if it's like downtown Manhattan, like, because we've all done taking the subway, and you feel somewhat safe. But then when you get out to the outskirts, I wonder if that's like where the craziness happens for the most part. I mean, one time I was on the subway in Bronx, and some guy looked at me, and I looked at him, and he's like, "What you looking at, Eli Manning? I'll blow your face up." And I was like, "What?" He's like, "Blow spread everywhere. I'll knock your ass out." I was like, "What the heck?"
They're
and like,
crazy.
you have a mental illness problem as well,
Yeah.
and people are on the subways and they're dangerous. Like that guy that threatened me that day, like he said he was gonna shoot me because I was looking at him, calling me Eli Manning. I was like, "What?"
You do look like Eli Manning.
A little bit.
yeah, you do. After you said, I was like, oh hell
so-
yeah, you do, dude. You look like Eli.
But it's just like a little dangerous. And then, I mean, now they're just gonna have so many people on those subways going in. Because I saw a video and the traffic does look less. And so, I mean, all those people are on the subway and the subway's already packed and those things are not even clean inside. They're gross.
I mean, so we did All That Remains, the band that I'm in, did a tour a couple years back, and we had the option of going into Manhattan and playing, or just doing a couple shows in outside of the city. We did one on Long Island and we did one in Jersey, because going into Manhattan is too much of a pain in the balls. Like, what's the point? Like, you drive a bus in. You have to, if you can drive the bus in, you can only get dropped off, and the bus can't stay. The bus has to go and stay at the Vince Lombardi in Jersey. You cannot bring trucks in. You can't bring an 18-wheeler or a box truck in. You can't stay there. So it just makes everything about playing in the city a pain in the ass. And we go to the Starland Ballroom in Jersey, which is a phenomenal room. It's close enough where people will go, like the surrounding area, they'll go to the Starland. And if you play, somewhere on Long Island, people will go there. It's not like there's a lot of people on Manhattan that are looking to, it's not like there are people on Manhattan that won't leave New York. Of course, there's some people that are like, well, I don't have a car, and so I don't want to go too far away. But at the same time, if you can go to these other rooms and have the same turnout or better, because people don't want to go into the city anymore, what's the point of going to the city? And I know that All That Remains isn't the only band that's like, I don't want to go and play in the city. It's too much of a hassle. I can't get my bus in there. I can't get our 18-wheeler in there. We can't get our box truck in there. It's too much of a pain in the ass to do it. So why would people go do it?
And why are they like penalizing tourism as well? Like,
Yeah.
And you feel bad for the people that have like these service companies, because I mean, if anything, they should be exempt from that congestion fee price, because they're trying to make money, and then they just add another fee on top of them. It makes it even harder for them to make money inside these big cities where it's already hard enough to make enough money.
Are they getting? Are people that have electric vehicles? Do they not have to pay?
I think they do.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they all do. It's
just
about
a vehi-
congestion.
It's a congestion fee. It's
But it's like in California when you just have all these random tourism taxes. And it's like, why are they penalizing you for being a tourist or wanting to come and give money to the city and help, and fuel their economy?
I think that you got to pay money to cross the bridge, obviously. The one into Jersey for sure. When you enter, it's like it was $10, $12, $15. Back when I was living there 10, 15 years ago. And I think that was just to pay off. It was supposed to be a temporary fee. I could be wrong about that. I don't know if you guys know the
There are
story
no
about it.
fees that are ever temporary.
Yeah,
Tolls.
they spin it up and they're like, this is to pay off the cost of the bridge. And then all of a sudden they're like, wow, now we use the money for reoccurring taxes and we can't.
I-90 in Massachusetts was supposed to have a toll just until it was finished being made, and then after that they held on to it, and then they were saying, oh, well, once the big dig is done, then we'll get rid of the toll. The big dig's been done for like 15 years or something like that, and they've still got a toll there.
It's kind of like the Panama Canal. Like once you dig it, you want to keep it forever. Same way with these tolls. Anyway, I just want to talk about the Panama Canal a little bit. I'm glad that Trump wants it back. I mean,
it
it's a
makes
military
sense.
need. But anyway, I digress.
And what's annoying too about these tolls is like, if you pull up a lot of the times and you want to pay, there's nobody inside the toll box. And so then you just get some random bill that you forget about in your mail.
Yep.
And then you're paying $50. I mean, I go all across the country and I have like hundreds of dollars of these toll fees. I'm like, where did I cross?
Do you Easy Pass?
Do I?
Yeah.
Not when I'm renting all these cars. It's
You can't take your Easy Pass from car to car, or like just.
I probably could. I need to look into that. But
Here's a funny thing. This is congestion pricing advocate attacked at NYC subway station. I guess
Oh,
not
this guy's
funny.
the man.
As new $9 toll pushes people to mass transit. So be careful what you wish for. A vocal proponent of the state's controversial congestion pricing plan was attacked in Manhattan subway station over the weekend. Layla Law Gasico, president of the City Club of New York, which sued Kathy Hochul to implement the unpopular toll for motorists, was bruised and battered. Jeez, man.
Wow, New Yorkers ain't having it.
Does that count towards Rudyard's, thing?
She's alive, so thankfully she's alive.
Yeah, I feel like I should have taken up Rudyard on that bet because I think I'd win.
I mean, I think you're right, but at the same time, like I wouldn't be surprised if it does get into, double or triple digits.
So this is the dude that pushed to get this thing, the lady that pushed to get it implemented, the tax, and then people rose up
they're
against
very
it?
much mad.
They want like all people taking Ubers and whatever, autonomous vehicles, basically.
They want Waymos.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We took
all
those in Phoenix for the first time, a driverless vehicle, dude. It was awesome.
All the Waymos.
Except it's going to rain, and you're going to walk out, and the Waymo's going to pull up. You're going to sit down. It's going to drive 2 blocks. A thunderstorm's going to start, and it's going to stop dead in the middle of the street. And it's going to be like must wait due to inclement weather. And you're going to go, okay, I guess I'm stuck.
Is that coded into the thing? I don't know much about it.
Tesla can't auto drive when it's a bad storm.
And you can't get, okay.
It technically can, but every single time it's rained or snowed out here, it says like auto drive, auto steer unavailable. Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe Waymo's got that big spinning thing on top that can navigate better.
But doesn't Waymo's doesn't use cameras, do they?
It's all sonar.
Really?
And they're New York's nice gridded, so it's like you're either going straight or you're turning 90 degrees for the most part. So
maybe they put nodes on every intersection on the corners so the car knows where it is, and then every other car is going to have this node installed.
It would be pretty cool if you walk down at Lower Manhattan and it's just constant. The cars, they're all moving in synchronicity, and then they all stop at once, and all the pedestrians move, and then they all move in synchronicity again.
That's their plan. That's what the technocrats want. They want it so that no one owns a car. You open up your Uber app and you click vehicle, and then like an egg-shaped pod pulls up, opens up, and it's just chairs facing each other. You sit down and it drives you where you want to go.
And then if there's a forest fire, you're like, where's my Waymo? And like, no, get out now. And you're like, but I don't have a car anymore. Get out. Good luck getting out of the city.
You will own nothing and you will be happy.
That's what they want. Ah, man, it's so convenient. Have you taken a Waymo?
I have not.
Have you been in a driverless vehicle?
No, just a few Teslas.
Yeah, but have you seen that
the Waymos
video?
are so spooky looking. They got like these like propellers on the top, all these things. You're like, what?
Who was talking about it where the guy was in the parking lot and he was late for his flight and the Waymo was just going in circles in the parking lot?
Oh, nightmare fuel.
Was that Cliff talking about that the other
Do the
day?
Waymos at least have a steering wheel inside?
Let me see if I can find that.
It's a regular. If you sit in the front seat, the driver's seat, it'll stop and it'll call the customer service of the Waymo. We found that out firsthand.
Oh, you tried?
Yeah,
because I wanted to put my bag in the driver's seat because I was like, wait, it's a big empty spot to like store something while we're moving.
No, it's not.
But they warned me, don't do it, Ian.
Yeah,
which is still a little dumb in my opinion. Like they should utilize that area for storage, of course.
Look at this.
Me, Serge Carter.
Man nearly misses flight as self-driving Waymo taxi drives around in parking lot in circles. Where's the video though?
Furious.
What is this?
What happens if you just open the?
Oh, here we go.
Why
I
is
got
this
it.
happening to me on a Monday? I'm in a Waymo car.
Rider support. This call may be recorded for quality assurance.
This car is just going in circles.
I don't know, this is Gab. I'm calling from Waymo support. I'm just calling because I received a notification that your car might be experiencing some routing issue. Please bear with me while I am.
Yeah, I got a flight to catch. Why is this thing going in a circle? I'm getting dizzy. Look at what it's doing.
I understand. I'm really, really sorry, Mike. We're currently working with the situation of the vehicle. Is it circling around a parking lot, right?
It's circling around a parking lot. I got my seatbelt on. I
this
can't
is
get out
wild.
the car.
The future is
Has this
dumb.
been hacked? What's going on?
Take the seatbelt off. I feel like if he'd have done something.
Is somebody
Grab the
playing a
steering
joke
wheel.
on me?
Yeah.
And I got a flight
No,
to
it's
catch.
not. I understand, Mike. I'm really sorry for this. We're working with this, but by any chance, do you have an access to your Waymo app right now? Do you have an
Yeah.
access? I'm going to be pulling the car over while we are trying to assist the car.
It really is just going in a
Hold on
circle.
just a second.
Oh my goodness. I just better not be late for the flight. You guys are going to take care of the flight. That part.
I'm really sorry.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah,
this
she
is
doesn't want to pay
crazy.
for that.
This is crazier.
Oh, there it goes again.
Apologize. If you have your app pulled
Open
up,
the
I
door.
need you to tap my trip in the lower left corner of your app.
Can't you just do it? You should be able to handle it. Take over the car. You don't need my phone.
I don't have an option to control the car.
Wow.
Like,
Oh my
I'm really so
gosh.
sorry. But
That's amazing, dude. One of my favorite memes was like, the future is stupid, and it's like, my book ran out of batteries. It's like, yep. That's where we're at right now. I'm excited for the future, though.
I love the convenience, but damn, they can drive your car from a distance. That's pretty crazy.
Have you seen there's a company that offers the dog style robots, offers them now for $1,600.
What?
Holy crap, we got to get one of those.
One?
Get an office dog.
I
Get
don't
like 3 of them for the office.
I don't know the
Security
name.
perimeter checks. You know?
Yeah, I don't know the name of the company off the top of my head, but I'll grab it for you. I was listening to the All In podcast, and it's a Chinese company, so anything that
it's
it
probably
sees is
spot on.
Oh, I
obviously
mean,
going
dude, you
back
can
to
get it
China.
on Amazon
Is it the one
for
that shoots out
$4,000.
fire?
Exactly. And they have the humanoid style one for around $15,000.
What?
And now the big breakthrough that they're talking about in AI is agentic AI. So AI that can do things more than just Google search for you, right? Because that's essentially what LLMs are right now. But if you can get an AI to say, hey,
Oh, yeah, just here it is.
yeah, it's crazy. It's
Look at this.
crazy good.
Dang.
There's one that it does. Yeah.
Look at it. It's dancing.
Whoa.
What's it doing?
I wonder if we can ride a skateboard, dude.
Look at that,
We got to
it's
teach it how to
There's
ride a
one that
skateboard.
has wheels. There's a video of one.
Look at
with
it go.
wheels. And
You
you're
could
literally
skate with that
Look at
thing
it
like
go. It's got
crazy.
moves.
there's a dude sitting on it with the wheels, and it is hauling ass.
These will shoot fire as well.
Well, I've seen those, yeah.
Dude, mount some
We don't
cameras
want-
to
we don't
that
want
thing.
that.
Give it a
What's its
skateboard.
face doing?
That's just the gyroscope to help.
You
it
know that
stay.
thing's going to be able to
Oh,
drop in
what?
on the demon
That's
drop.
not a
over
gyroscope on its face.
Yeah, that's why it's spinning.
here. Dude, that
That's-
thing's going to be
are
able
you
to skate this
sure?
park better
I'm
than
not
anything.
100% sure, but that's
No, a
what I'm-
gyro is going to be a disc inside its body.
Oh, it's a sonar. okay.
Sonar? Yeah, that makes sense.
So that listen, if they do.
Oh, look at
perfect-
that. They got the human one.
Yeah, this thing is like $15,000.
Oh, my God.
Oh, dude.
It doesn't have hands on it yet,
What?
but
You'll get
they'll
it a
be able to
skateboard,
have-
bro.
Can we buy this and just have it run down Martinsburg full
if you
speed,
want.
like down Main Street?
Someone will steal it. Well, maybe, actually.
look, we're less than a year or maybe 18 months away from androids of being available
Oh my
to
God,
do your dishes.
Or your security.
Because, well, I mean, security,
Yo, look at
security is
this.
fine. That's
At least
the one
alerting the predator.
No, but the point that I'm making, Ian, is it can. Once you get an actual AI that can actually perform tasks.
Yeah, like washing dishes.
Exactly. The robot like that is $15,000, and what's going to happen is your average middle class person, right? Poor people aren't going to be able to yet, but your average middle class person, they're going to look at that and say, "I don't have to do dishes, mow the lawn, or go do groceries anymore for $550 a month because they'll finance it."
Look at this at a skate park. You know what I want to do? I want to get like 50 of them, and then I want to have them attack Special Mike,
He'd beat them all.
one of our team riders, and just give him a sword.
Yeah,
and
give
be
him
like,
a big
Bro,
stick.
good luck.
That out there would be sick. But I mean, look at $1,500.
staff.
So, like in the next year or two, like Musk has talked about, at some point in the next 5 years, there's going to be more robots running around the world than there are humans. And the reason is because if they're right about the price points, and your average person, can pay $15,000, $500 a month for 5 years or whatever, it's like that's right around a used Prius, right? So like if you can get a robot that does all of the annoying housework for you and does it properly for $15,000, you're going to have a massive amount of people that are middle class that'll say, "I'll pay that monthly bill."
Bro, I've been watching Westworld because I watched the first season and never watched the rest of it because I hear it's bad. So I was like, well, I'm like waiting for Landman on Sunday, so I put on Westworld, and this is kind of freaky stuff,
Oh.
Have you seen Westworld?
No.
You know what it's about?
Yeah, it's like an Old West VR realm or something.
It's not VR. It's like they make a bunch of robots that are like humans, so you can just goof off and do whatever you want.
So it's a real place. It's not a virtual.
It's a real place.
Okay.
And then, but the robots come to life, like wake up.
Dude, that's what these things are Chinese. You said they're Chinese. Like
Yeah, they're
that's
Chinese.
some
It's
spyware
a Chinese
tech right
company,
there.
yeah.
You buy one of these and put them in here. CCP's got you mapped out.
Bro, I'm gonna buy
right.
like, I'm buying this.
Like special Mike.
I'm not gonna tell Mike, and it's gonna have it chase him one day. Like he'll walk in and go, "Hey guys," and then it just runs out of the room full speed at him.
Ian, you're right. It is basically Chinese spyware, but there's going to be, as the technology progresses, this is the same kind of this is the type of thing that will get significantly cheaper as more people buy them. Just like your cell phones and just like your TVs, like you can buy a TV that has all the all the features you could possibly want, HD, 4K for $1,000.
I imagine cars are intentionally kept expensive. I could be wrong about that, but 16 grand for a car seems
Look at
expensive.
what a Model 3 can do for $35,000.
You're wrong about that. Yeah.
So it's not that they're intentionally kept expensive.
So with these things, because I want one of these robots, I want to like literally go buy one tonight. I'm
buy it- buy it
I'm not
on
going
Amazon.
to because it's CCP. Are you?
Yeah. I'm going to buy 3 to have them monitor the perimeter.
That's sick.
And they'll just be walking around.
Yeah.
And then they'll give us alerts when they encounter people.
Give them each a name because I want to be like, oh, hello, Rufus.
I'm going to number them 1, 2, and 4.
Okay. Perfect.
1, 2, and Johnny 5.
Well, the point is if the people find the 3 of them and they say 1, 2, 4, they'll be like, where's the last one?
Did someone let the dogs in at the end of the night? You won't need to let them in, actually, ever.
You know what I'd love to do is I'd love to have Seamus ride one of them.
The cat or the man?
There's a video
Both.
of
Oh, yeah, that'd be cool.
Depending on how big they are.
there's a video of a human being riding one with the wheels. I saw. I don't know where it was. I don't think it's on their website, but I saw.
I don't know what
saw-
what is
It
this?
might have been on
So,
YouTube.
There's one with wheels and one without.
What is this industry one? Like, what's the point? I don't understand.
Unitree.
Oh, so can you swap the legs in?
You gotta
give
get
it
one with the
wheeled
wheels.
feet. That's cool. Modular. And then what industry? Like he'll be used for transporting wood and materials and stuff.
Don't you just think it'd be like really fun if you were like standing and 10 of them were running full speed at you and you had like a sword and you just had to fight them off?
That would be
Tim,
cool. I'd rather play Space Pirates.
In the Discord, there's a link to the dude riding it.
What?
In the Discord.
I don't know if I can pull that one up.
It's on YouTube.
Who's riding?
Yeah, no, but what's the title of it? Why don't you send it to me?
There it is.
Slack.
Your car will become your robot. I mean, that's what he names an Optimus, Elon.
You send it to me and-
He's the
yep.
transformer. So you could ride your car and then the car will stand up and become like humanoid and then we'll go. It'll be like a motorcycle.
Yo, look at this. I got it.
Okay. Yeah. And this is legit. Like, this is not AI.
What?
So this is the thing we could buy right now.
Yeah,
you can
buy
ride it
right now.
Bro, I'll ride this to the store. That'd be hilarious.
Dude, that'd be awesome.
And then like when I go inside, I'll be like, Robo-Dog, stay.
Wow, look at that.
You know, I just want to point something out real quick. Like, you hear that rock music in the background?
That's AI.
Music?
Yeah, I don't know for sure. But.
No, I'm just saying it's kind of funny because we were talking about yesterday that the last rock song to hit #1 was in 2001 and it was Nickelback.
Yeah.
So it's funny that all these companies use rock as their like background music despite it like not charting. Whoa, it did a 180. Look at that. Oh,
Crap, dude.
180.
Can you defeat the dog?
You think?
Yo, I want to fight this
Play a
thing.
game of skate with that thing, dude.
You think China ever just laughs at us when we're like talking about climate change, and meanwhile they're
Oh,
just
yeah.
building all this stuff? They're
Absolutely.
like, look at you guys.
We like Boston Dynamics has stuff that really, makes this stuff, or that does all this stuff as well. It's just that China, they just release it to the public faster than the U.S. is allowed to.
It's like getting your video game console into your
I want to
house
see it
for
hit that
cheap.
handrail. Wow, look at that.
Like that was Nintendo just wants you to get the console for cheap so that they can make you buy a bunch of games. They just want you to get this thing for cheap
40
so they can spy on
kilograms,
you.
dude.
Yeah.
That's carrying
carry it
80
first?
pounds.
Look at that, just over obstacles and stuff.
You could have to go to the store and pick up milk for you.
Dang, that thing's got a motor on it.
What?
Here we go.
Is this
All
thing
you
for
gotta
real?
do is
I'm buying this.
Put a saddle on with some stirrups to keep your feet off the
He
ground.
is riding it.
Yeah, I told you.
Oh.
I think I was.
No, I believed you.
Look at that. Dude, this thing will do the vert.
Dude,
It's
right.
like
For real.
Yeah.
I bet it could do the drop-in.
100%.
it's kind of like a motorcycle. Like you've just sort of just bypassed turning cars into these things
how
and
do I
you've
buy
built
this?
them that have the same function as the car. Obviously it's tiny, but that's a quad cycle. I mean,
You got to call them and they're in China. Buy now. Shop. $16,000 for the human.
Oh man, what's
I think we got to do it.
Yeah, dude.
And we got to put like a human silicon mask on it.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Just we'll get like an expert with facial reconstruction.
No, like here's the problem. You go to order it and it's like contact us.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
You
The
probably
Unitree
spend
go
extra to get it
if you
rushed.
buy it.
Oh,
from-
here we go. There you go. You could buy it right now.
Yeah, if you buy it, you can buy one from Amazon for $4,000.
Does it come with the wheels?
They have the top 3D shop Unitree.
Yeah, where the wheels at?
29.
Unitree. This is like the deal with the devil. This is like putting Alexa in my house.
We're not going to bring it
Alexa
inside. It's
off.
going to walk around outside.
Yeah.
The EDU weighs 15 kilograms, aluminum alloy, high strength engineering plastic.
Is that the top level?
Payload 8 kilograms. Aw, see it's itty bitty.
8 kilograms.
I might have to buy one to see how it takes 5.56 rounds.
Yeah, geez, what are they made of? Does it
Aluminum.
say?
It said aluminum.
Aluminum.
Yeah.
Okay, these things are lightweight.
How do I buy the guy? Could you imagine just like this dude, this robot walking around, and then someone comes here to act a fool, and the robot just walks up?
But you just have it sitting down there.
Yeah.
Like security at the front desk.
But I mean, the point of bringing it up, like this stuff is a couple years away from
dude.
being.
You can put an
all
arm on
over
its
the place.
back.
An
Yep.
arm. That's pretty sweet. What would you do with that arm?
Throw rocks at people.
Oh yeah, it could spin around real fast and let
Most
loose
likely
the
open doors.
Spin it around and sling it at you.
Shot.
Give it a sling on the end of the
Catapult on the
arm. It could
The future is weird, man.
You know, the robotics are significantly further along than people realize. You know, this, like, we're all pretty plugged into like things like this, to technology and stuff like that, and this is a surprise to most.
Oh, dude, we could put the human robot in Ian's seat.
There you go.
be great.
All we
Get
gotta
a
do
wig
is,
for it.
and just what we'll do is we'll load in all the episodes of IRL that Ian's been on, and we'll use a large language model to isolate Ian's speech patterns and have it just simulate Ian.
What if I could just voice chat through it into the microphone from home? That'd be bang.
Nah, it's more demeaning if the robot pretends to be you.
Yeah, that's fine. Just remind people
Hey
you're
guys,
AI.
I'm Robot Ian.
Yeah.
Hey, Robot Ian.
Always
Have I mentioned graphene yet?
Yeah.
No.
Buy my coffee.
Buy my coffee.
As long as if they build an AI of me, you got to always remind the people that you're an AI version, because they're going to make AI copies of all of us in the future. Like they're like, "Are you going to live forever?" I don't know what that means actually, but my personality will be embedded in this
video.
Sorry, Phil.
The actual robe is the humanoid.
Oh, but this looks like CGI.
No, it's real.
Are you sure?
I do that exercise.
Oh, look at that.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. This is CGI, bro.
No, it's look at when there's a part where a human's going to come in and it's little.
Okay.
It's actually shorter than a human.
Maybe that's why it looks fake. Oh, yeah, okay. It looks real now. See, the robots are going to watch these videos and they're going to turn on us.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
No way.
Remember this? It'll show like.
no, get out of here. Okay, hold on. I'm just going to pause real quick. I'm pretty sure if I actually punch that thing full force, it's falling down.
Yeah, I mean,
You hope so.
You're probably right.
He's kind of pulling his punches.
Yeah, but
Like if you do a flying cross into his chest. Look at that, dude.
That is creepy.
He's folding himself up
yeah,
for packaging. Wow. Probably 30 pounds.
no,
40 pounds.
Oh, it's got a weapon. Oh, man.
Now that's kind of
Look at that. It's threatening us.
swinging a bow staff.
But I mean, it's not.
Bunch of them. What is this supposed to show? Oh god, an army
not
of robots.
It's not very long until you see, like, I mean, it's going to show you the thing doing some stuff around the house. There you go.
Oh, it just shattered a walnut.
It's not very long until these things are going to be able to do dishes. And
You're like, who made the mess? And it'll be like, robot, did you make the mess? It's like,
Whoa.
I am not programmed to clean it yet.
It's cooking. Why is it hitting itself in the finger?
I think it's just showing the motions that it can do.
Oh, it's soldering.
dude.
Yeah,
Yo, that's wild. Whoa. That is crazy.
you're talking about, you know, a year before these.
I want
things
to fight that robot.
It's kind of like
I think you'll win.
It'll have
sword.
I wonder if it can plunge your toilet. It'll probably be able to like build microchips before it will be able to
Can we-
like
it's not-
unclog a
Can we
drain.
program it to defend itself and then have a sparring match with like a bokin? Or
I
something?
imagine that's only a couple years away.
To be honest, like I feel like one hard strike with a bokin that thing would explode.
It would hold pads for you, I bet, though. If you want to do like practice roundhouse kicks and stuff, kicks and
It would,
punches.
dude. That guy punching it was not really punching it.
No, he was pulling them.
It's like you ever see that video where the woman she's got the screen protector and then she grabs the phone and she just bashes it and shatters it and then she grabs the one with the screen protector and she lightly taps it to like show the screen protector is working. It's like we get it, dude. You're not actually trying to break.
I'd like to see Tyson or Jake Paul. Jake Paul should do it. He should get one and train with it, and that would be like the biggest like publicity stunt.
I mean,
where it's holding pads.
I got an idea. Like we should buy one and then invite Colby Covington to just throw his strongest punch right in its face.
Yeah, dude.
Yes.
Boom.
And ask the robot what it thought after. Are they embedded with AI? Mental?
Well, that's the thing that I was trying to say is it's not like the functionality of it is now limited only by how intelligent the AI you put in it is, right? So it's like you can program robots to do all sorts of things. Just computer-aided machining is all robot stuff, and they can be as like incredibly delicate and make tiny, literally only a couple microns of a cut, right? But that's all programmed by it's all mapped out early. When we were talking about or when I was mentioning agentic AI, once you get an artificial intelligence in the robot that can say, when you say go do the laundry, and it can go into your room, pick up all your clothes, put them in the hamper, whatever isn't already in the hamper, take the hamper into the laundry room, put the clothes into the into the laundry machine, into the washing machine, put the detergent in, maybe put the fabric softener in, close the top, set it properly, and then turn it on and leave. That's when people will be like, I'll pay $500 a month for that. When you can when you can tell your robot, go to the grocery store and get these things, and then the robot walks out, gets into the Tesla.
Or it
drives.
It has wheels. It can drive itself.
You could do that, but if you're talking about, I'm talking about the suburbs, it goes out and gets in the car. The car drives to the grocery store, right? Goes inside, buys all the stuff you want, pays for it because you've given it your credit card.
Yeah.
Walks out. And then gets in the car and brings it back, and then brings the stuff in and puts it into the loads it into your fridge and stuff.
It could,
People will absolutely pay $500.
We've got breaking news. So this broke about a half an hour ago, but there's an update on this. A new wildfire has broken out in Runyon Canyon Park, just north of Hollywood Boulevard.
How are these fires?
Flames are engulfing 10 acres. Everywhere. They've just issued an evacuation order right now. So this is just within the past few minutes. LA Fire Department brush fire sunset fire evacuation order. They say, what does it say? Hollywood Hills West, approximately 10 acres burning between Runyon Canyon and Waddles Park. A mandatory evacuation order is now in place for Laurel Canyon. Bro, I got friends who live up there, man. This is really terrifying stuff. So I hope everybody's okay. I know people who work here have family up there. This is affecting. This is going to affect millions of people.
Yep.
If you're there, get out. Listen to this, dude. Get out.
Why are they just like spawning too? Like the one in Pasadena and the one in
embers are flying through the air.
Palisades.
90-mile-an-hour winds rip the embers up. They land on the ground and it goes up.
And LA is also extremely dense. Like if these flames are gonna keep going and they haven't contained anything, like when will this stop? Like there needs to be rain. Like
let's play this.
Everyone better be praying for some rain.
On your right is a new fire. This is the Hollywood Hills.
Wow,
this is
dude,
a
holy
location
crap.
that we were given, 2350 North Solar Drive. That's between Nichols Canyon and Runyon Canyon in the Hollywood Hills. There are a number of homes surrounding that. Chris Christie, are you available to give us some information about this?
Mark, very concerning sight here in the Hollywood Hills. We're just west of Nichols Canyon, just north of Hollywood Boulevard, where a major fire has just sparked in the last 5 minutes. We were over the Pacific Palisades. We saw the glow coming from over the hill, and just in the last couple minutes that it took us to get over here to Hollywood, this thing has exploded in size. You can see northerly winds coming through the canyon here, just west of Nichols, just east of Runyon Canyon, and you can see this is all very thick fuel that is fueling this brush fire. LA City Fire is aware of this fire. They have immediately called for the 20 closest trucks to respond out here. However, accessing this fire is going to require more than trucks. They're going to have to get a quick reaction force over here as soon as possible, or more likely LA City Fire choppers over here as soon as possible, depending on what resources are available. But this thing is blowing up before our eyes. It is a very sizable fire that is spreading rapidly. I'm going to try and get some more exact streets here. If you bear with me 1 second, Lucas. Pan over to the right. So that's Runyon Canyon Road to the right there. And if we pull out all the way so we can just put this into a frame of reference. It's just south of Mulholland Drive. And if we come all the way out, you can see due north of Bonita Avenue and Vista Street off of Hollywood Boulevard. So we're talking about 1.5 miles north of Hollywood Boulevard that is now on fire. It appears to be all brush at this point. Do not see the closest structure just yet. However, I think there's a house or a group of homes on the north side, on the other side of this fire towards Mulholland. We can't see it through the smoke right now, but this appears to be majority brush that is fueling this right now.
Chris, I've hiked Runyon Canyon so many times. I know Mark Shirley has as well. And you mentioned the streets, Bonita and Vista. Those are all the streets that, I take to get to Runyon Canyon. I'm concerned there's a lot of homes there, a lot of apartments, and our fire resources are already stretched so thin. Are you seeing any evidence of any response yet? I know it is dark, and I know we're just starting to follow it.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
I know a bunch of people who live right by there. That's right by Hollywood and Highland.
Oh, yeah.
That's like the spot.
Yep.
That's like, what, 10 blocks west of Highland? It's like
No,
5
not
blocks
even.
west of La Brea.
It's
No, La Brea is a different area.
No, bro.
That's La Brea. Yeah, it's Hollywood and La Brea, like just northwest.
Oh, I thought you
Runyon.
were talking about the La Brea tar pits.
Runyon's so legit. I got to do the pray for rain thing. I got to go into my weird control the
Make
weather.
it rainy in.
Okay.
It's near the Chinese Theater.
Yep.
I imagine if it burns down to the road, it's going to stop.
No.
So much
why?
No, all those
concrete and
buildings, dude,
cement.
all those trees, all those
All
buildings.
the fire, the line.
Dude, there's a video of one of these buildings burning, and you're looking at metal on fire. And I'm sitting there being like, the metal frames are burning. What is burning off that? Is it magnesium or something? That's crazy.
So you think that was just a little ember that flew and then caught on fire?
Yeah, it's usually what happens.
It's
When you-
crazy.
Yep.
I mean, the
There was a
90 miles per hour.
There was a fire
right now.
in Jersey when I lived in Union City, New Jersey for a while, and a fire, one building, and then 2 blocks away, a church caught on fire because embers from the house went up into the air and then fell down and started the church on fire. Yup. 2 blocks away, and there's only 2 structures that were affected by it. Absolutely
I
insane.
did it during the hurricane. I focused energy to calm the wind. Like you have a magnetic field. Your body has one, and so does the earth. And lightning is magnetic. Heat is, electrons.
I don't think you want to go down this rabbit hole. Ian.
God.
Because that means when the fire started, you did nothing.
I did nothing.
You did nothing.
I've just been
It's your
enjoying.
fault.
I've been playing the bizarre. I've been playing a bunch of video games while the world
You hear this,
burns.
Phil? You hear this?
I'm looking at like the whiskeys right there, the marquee.
Oh, yeah, yup,
the comedy store, like all these places that like we played and like really really famous places in Hollywood. It's really close to that stuff, and if it does get down to the roads and stuff, I like it. It's not that there's
It's
too much
Hollywood.
concrete. Yeah,
When people talk about Hollywood, it's Hollywood and Highland. That's where the Walk of Fame is.
Yep.
It's where Jimmy Kimmel. I think he's basically right there.
He's at the El Capitan, right across the street at the El Capitan Theater.
So it's not where the big Hollywood sign is.
No,
that's
But
Hollywoods.
when people are like, I want to go to Hollywood, like the Walk of Fame is Hollywood Boulevard, and Hollywood and Highland. It's like you got Ripley's right there. You got all the restaurants, all the little knick-knack stores.
Yeah, it's like 15 blocks away from Runyon, roughly. And then there's the Sunset Strip. Just a couple blocks south of Hollywood is Sunset.
Next one down.
I mean, I'm not sure the exact
Hollywood's
area that
burning
was
up there.
destroyed in the Palisades, but if this fire does get down into Hollywood, into the actual populated areas to where the streets are, you could see a lot of damage really really
So
fast.
they got to be
These
getting
buildings
the
aren't.
cars, I would imagine. Now the fire trucks are
It's
on
in the-
Franklin, on Hollywood.
It's in the canyon right now, and you can't there's no roads that actually lead to it. I don't know how it started, but like where it is, it's like you can look at it. It's in the canyon, so if they're going to be able to get trucks to it, before it gets out of, I mean, it's already probably out of hand, I guess.
Yeah, man, it's
bad.
This is crazy.
Hey, Nick Sorter
Just
posted
north
that.
of
Thanks,
Hollywood
Nick.
Boulevard.
It's nuts.
The only way it will stop is if it rains or if somehow they figure out how to contain
What's
it.
the weather?
Show me. I want to look.
Dry. That's it.
Not raining.
Nothing. Sunny and dry for a week.
All right, we got.
I swear, California's got to be cursed or something.
Doomed. I mean,
Forbes.
it is the government's fault though. Like all this stuff, like fires are natural, and there's a lot of plants and stuff like that that have over the course of thousands of years they've evolved to be able to survive this stuff because of the humans in this area. They don't want fires, so they do everything they can to put them out. And if you leave the fuel on the ground, it's gonna happen.
Fires are usually small.
Yep, exactly.
When we stop them, and the tinder builds up, you're creating a recipe for it. Well, you're creating a literal tinderbox.
Yep.
You got to manage that. You got to go to the forest floor sweeping. And Trump called them out over this. They wouldn't do it. This was years ago. It's like 2019. Trump has this thread where he's like, they're not doing the floor management. They make fun of him for it. So at a certain point, it's just like
too late.
What can you do?
Too late to play defense when they should have been playing offense for.
Yeah.
What do you do for people who entertain and enjoy a life that leads to these things and then scream and beg for help? Like, obviously we help them, but like there's only so much we can do.
Yeah, like
they're going to be recovering for a very, very long time. I mean, Maui, Hawaii, I went there a few months ago, still completely destroyed.
Is it?
Oh yeah, they're not
nothing has been built in the main parts.
Palisades aren't going to come back for decades.
No.
If anything.
No, and then
that land is going to be worth nothing.
And then on top of that, all the restrictions they have just to build stuff, all the permits you have to get inside California, like cooked. They're done.
Wow.
For a while.
That's crazy.
You guys think Hollywood's cursed? California's cursed?
Oh, well, I think that good men do nothing, and California's turned into this.
Do you think all this all this Hollywood corruption, pedophilia stuff is now coming back to like
hedonistic?
I don't think it's supernatural. I think that when
God's coming to chastise them.
No, I don't think it's supernatural at all. When you have evil people ripping apart at the foundations for personal benefit, it falls apart. Mm-hmm. The collapse is inevitable when you have. Like Sodom and Gomorrah don't need God to smite them. They cannot sustain themselves on their own. Cities of debauchery and degeneracy will fall apart.
Also, I think that one of them was built on a sulfur mine, and there you learn the hard way. If you light a match over a sulfur mine, there's a big explosion, and there goes Gomorrah or whatever the hell, one of those cities. So you build a city in the desert, and you rely on imports for water. Well, there you go. I guess they had a river.
There's just so many things they could have done just years and years ago to prevent something to this level. I mean, you can't stop all forest fires, but to this level, there needs to be something that they should have been able to do to prevent it.
Man, this is the downside of, what was that?
So there's a lot they could have done.
Yeah, the downside of voting for your candidates and having them seeking re-election is that they waste so much time trying to raise money and please people. When the upside of authoritarian governments, which is also, I don't like it, is they move very quickly. They can just get masses of slaves together, hordes of people, and command them, you're all doing this now. And if that means you're all digging out the sticks out of the woods in, Southwest California, they're going to be doing it. If they're going to be building pyramids, they're going to be doing it.
California has Apple. They've got IBM. They have plenty of tax base in that state to be able to have enough funds to deal with this. They have Hollywood and they have Silicon Valley. There is ample money in taxes that California takes in. They're the 9th largest, or something like the 9th largest or 5th largest economy on Earth, bigger than like 185 of the countries on Earth. So it's not a matter of funding or whether or not
and they tax more than any other state in the United States.
Exactly. So it's not a matter of they can't afford it. They absolutely can afford it. They have the tax base that they need. It's a lack of will. They don't want to. Just like I was talking.
It's force of will. They want the state to fall apart.
Well, I mean, that could be. But people have been leaving in droves. This is only going to drive more people out. People that have money that are like, Calabasas. I have a friend that I just texted, and he lives
Beautiful
in Calabasas. And I was like, yo, how you doing? He's like, things are okay for now. But like, I mean, if you're up in Calabasas, right, and you're seeing this stuff happening 45 minutes away, 30 minutes away from your house, like, why are you going to stay? There's a lot of people that are just going to be like, I'm getting out of here, man. I'll sell my house, and they might sell it for a loss. They probably have multiple other homes, but getting out of there is probably going to be on the radar of a lot more people because that's already been happening. This kind of tragedy, this kind of disaster that could have been prevented. There are smart people in those houses that are going to be like, man, it's time to beat it because I can't insure my home anymore.
We didn't get into the story, but we'll talk about this in the members only when someone tweeted, James Woods' home is burning. It's karma. Keith Olbermann was basically saying good and cheering for this. I'm telling you, these people are evil. Okay. We'll talk about that one in the members only. So smash that like button. Share the show with everyone you know. Become a member by going to timcast.com. The Uncensored Show is where we engage in conversations that are less family friendly. So you put the kids to bed, you go to timcast.com, or you download the Timcast app. You play that members only show, and we get a bit more serious and not for the kids, earmuffs. But you'll also get access to our Discord server. where you can hang out with like-minded individuals 24/7. The amount of extra content you get as a member is insane. There's a morning coffee show. There's an after show. There's a pregame show. Shout out to Roman Nation podcast launched, the Timcast Discord. There is a whole library of extra content that is produced by our community, and you guys got to get involved. So go to timcast.com and join the movement. For now, we'll read your super chats. Eric Branson says this is not PG&E territory. This is LADWP or SoCal Edison.
Wow. LADWP or SoCal Edison.
Yeah, Department of Water and Power, I think. Is that what it is?
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Brad Peters says, with everything that's been happening in California for the last decade, I can only conclude these fires are acts of God, praying for the victims regardless. You know what, man? I do understand why you would feel that way, but I genuinely think there's a strong possibility that people like Newsom know that what they're doing will result in catastrophe, and they want it to happen. Remember when prices were collapsing in New York? Bill de Blasio said he was going to buy up buildings for pennies on the dollar to convert them into public buildings, public housing. These communist Democrat types, I'm not saying all Democrats are communists. I'm saying the communists that are masquerading as good American politicians.
Bill de Blasio is a commie.
Absolutely is. They want to burn down the system and then buy the land for pennies.
Newsom
now the Palisades is worthless.
Yeah, Newsom does not care about his people. And
no.
What does he do?
Makes a lot of money by funneling money from other organizations that help him buy $5 million houses in San Francisco.
Dang.
All right. Let's see. Churst says, Tim, don't let up on the mayor. The left went after Ted Cruz during the freeze in Texas because he was on vacation. Yeah, but I think the freeze happened and then he went on vacation, right?
Yeah, and also Ted Cruz is a senator. He's not the mayor or the governor. Like, what's a senator supposed to do? Like, a senator doesn't have any power inside of Texas. A senator represents Texas in Washington, D.C. The freeze didn't happen in Washington, D.C. So it was only, for looks that they went after Ted Kennedy. The actual stuff that's going on, Ted Cruz. I'm sorry. But the actual stuff that's going on in California, like the mayor and the governor could have done something about this.
Stevie Vivi says, did Bad Religion have it right 20 years ago with Los Angeles is Burning? Maybe, but I will give a shout out to Bad Religion for what is one of the best songs ever, You. You guys know that one?
No.
Those lyrics are epic.
I should.
Wasn't Tony Hawk 2 soundtrack? Yeah, but I absolutely love the writing in that song. There's a place where everyone can be right, even though you're made determined to be opposed. Admittance requires no qualifications. It's where everyone has been and everywhere and where everybody goes. So please try not to be impatient, for we all hate waiting in line, standing in line. But when the farm is good and bought, you'll be there without a thought. And eternity, my friend, is a long fucking time.
Ooh, I like that.
It's great. It's brilliant. The place where everyone can be right.
All one, all alone.
Yep.
That was Duncan Trussell said the word alone is like the word all one. It's like where everything is all one.
Did you guys know that the mayor of Los Angeles cut the fire department by $17.6 million?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
And they sent excess supplies to Ukraine.
Unbelievable. Oh, that's...
Yup.
Well,
and I wish we got into all of this. Like, there's just so much.
Yeah.
It's making me want to borrow Serge's cast.
We walk
for
in
tonight.
and Tim's like, man, there's no news tonight.
Well, no. I was saying the only news is the wildfire.
Yeah.
So everybody, hear me now. YouTube.com/Timcast. So my first channel on YouTube, I did a video essay every day at 4 p.m. And then the morning show, which is Timcast News, is just like press go, press record, and then talk about the news. The YouTube.com/Timcast videos at 4 p.m. are more like essays where we bring up all this evidence and everything. We're bringing it back. Today we launched the first one. It was a little bit late. It went up at 5. We're going to bring them up at 4 p.m. Today we went over why the fact checkers were biased, showing actual articles and proof and studies proving that the Facebook fact checkers were biased and targeting conservatives. Tomorrow we're doing a deep dive on the wildfires and how it is quite literally the fault of Democrat politicians. Trump warned them. They gave away equipment to Ukraine. They cut the budget. They refused to hire firefighters because they wanted less white men. This is exactly what we've all been talking about for so long. Cernovich had a great tweet. I think it was Cernovich where he said DEI is literally killing people.
Yeah.
Insane. So tomorrow, youtube.com/Timcast, 4 p.m. The show is coming back. We're bringing back the deep dive essays.
How's it work? Is it just you on a camera, or do you have a team? Oh, cool. Do you have people sourcing info with you, or do you?
So when I first did the show, it was just me. I did everything. But now we have a great team. And so Lisa Reynolds, who has guest hosted Culture War. Yeah, she does booking for the show. She's super smart, well-connected. She's helping produce the underlying facts and everything. So that way I can do the morning show and then also produce the essay breakdown.
Oh, that's cool.
So the way we did it today was she basically wrote a preliminary script, and then I read. So it's a mix of me reading, but also going off the cuff and adding things to it. So it's like co-written by us. She launches it, I read it, I add a few stories to it, and then we're getting an editor who's going to put it all together so that we can get out. It was 18 and a half minutes. The goal is to get a deep dive on all of these big stories with facts and sources. So it's more than just like on my morning show, I kind of just say, here's how I feel about things. What I used to have on the Timcast was basically like, here's what happened with the fact checkers. Here's what Zuckerberg said. Here's what the news said. The fact checkers are claiming that they're not biased. Here's proof from Duke University and like the Missouri University Public Affairs Department proving bias. Here's all sides proving bias. Here's the meter. Here's the images. Here's the evidence. And here's their statement. So that way it's much less opinion and much more deep dive fact on the issues.
Awesome. I like seeing things side by side, like the lie and then the contradiction, right literally next to each other on the screen.
Oh, that's one of the things that I did at the end of the episode was I showed the two Politico articles. One that says that Ukraine interfered in the 2016 election to help Hillary. And then the other Politico article, same company, saying the claim that Ukraine interfered was Russian disinformation. Both stories considered true and contradictory. And I'm like, this is it. So right now, Lisa's working on pulling up all of that info, a lot of stuff we talked about. But we're going to pull up the videos, we're going to pull the documents, and we're going to show exactly when they said no more white firefighters, when they said sending Ukraine all the stuff, exactly when they said we're not going to divert water to save the smelt, all of that stuff, breaking it down. And our hope is that we'll get a video up every single day of the week, Sunday to Sunday, no stopping.
Impressive.
Yeah, because this is, I used to do it on my own. Now we're going to have a team, so I'll be able to basically record them Monday through Friday, and then we'll get extra ones done throughout the week that we can put up on the weekends that are more evergreen.
Use that Chat GPT to organize. Help you guys organize.
GPT's all fake, dude.
Yeah,
it's pretty surface level.
Yeah, it's worse than that. And look, like honestly, I like Grok and I like GPT, but people went into Grok and said, "Did Timcast sell to the Daily Wire?" And it was like, yes, and it was just like literally a rumor that wasn't true.
Really? But Grok, he didn't. Did he sell? No. And you're like,
no,
what?
Right. And then it would be like, he didn't. And you'd be like, but you said he did. And it's like, I must have been wrong. And it's like, okay,
Is there, sorry to interrupt you. Is there a better one than GPT and Grok yet? Have you noticed anything better?
They're both good at different things. Yeah. Let's read some more super chats. We've got this from Samuel Ayrton. Says the entire West Coast restricts timber harvesting, doesn't brush roads or make enough slash burns, doesn't do enough back burns, won't add fire breaks, allows dead and down to build up over decades, and then blames the climate. We lose jobs and forest. Hear, hear.
Sounds like a forester.
They were talking about on Fox News that there's downed trees and they leave them.
Oh,
you've got to remove them. Those things burn.
Yep.
Nuts, man. They don't care.
You got to send the drones
in California, where like they dry out so fast because it's such a dry climate. Like it is so ridiculous to leave that stuff. It's so dangerous. Clearly.
Yeah. All right. What have we here? Common Sense Fishing says, I live in California Central Valley. A lot of the issues with the Delta, farming and sport fishing, reservoirs, recreation, camping, power creation via dams, etc. Better question is, why build megacity in a desert? LA already steals all of California's water. Hear, hear.
Yeah. William Mulholland was one of the guy that redirected all that water from the Owens River Valley in the early 1900s to help create. They named Mulholland Drive after the guy. Helped create Los Angeles and screwed over a bunch of farmers to do it.
Wow. We got Riley Butts. He says, I will accept Canada being adopted by America if Mexico gets California. If there were 51 countries who are reliant on the U.S. for their own independence, they get 2 votes in the Senate and they get approximately 350 million people, 560 electoral votes. Fair. I don't know. If we brought Canada, it wouldn't be the 51st state. It would be a collection of states.
Yes.
And so you'd add a bunch of red states, but it still is dominated by liberals.
Yeah, probably annex state by state if we're going to take if the country wanted to join us.
We'll keep the red ones in Canada.
Or could they just make them all territories and then not have them just, they want to be...
That's too respectful. I'd say we make them colonies subjugated by the American empire.
We need to negotiate with Emperor Charles because he's the king of Canada right now, the monarchy of Canada. So we'll have to dislodge that somehow peacefully.
It's wild how old the queen was. So, like, now King Charles is the king, but he's also basically got, like, a year left to live.
And then Harry? Harry is the...
No, he was out, isn't he?
No, it's his brother, William.
It's Prince William.
And he's, like, 30 or 35.
No, he's probably
40 now?
Probably pushing 50, yeah.
He's younger than me, I think.
I don't think so.
Anyway, That guy.
I talked to a lady in Canada about becoming the 51st state, and I was like, do you think they'd be able to withstand the United States? She's like, well, you remember what happened to the White House? Remember what happened to the White House? We know where it's at. We know where the White House is at.
My bad, he's 42.
What does she mean by that?
I guess
War of
at one
1812?
point, the Canadians came down and burned down the White House.
It was
It
British.
was the British.
Yeah, so she like
We went to Montreal.
She was also a witch.
Okay. We were about to conquer Montreal, and then they burned down the White House, and we were like, oh crap. But then in the Mexican-American War, I think it was, we actually won and seized half of Mexico, and then Polk was like, I don't want it. And the American people actually wanted to keep it, and they were like, yo, they were pissed.
Is it because he couldn't defend it?
No, I don't know.
I don't get why people are mad about us like wanting to expand. I think it'd be pretty cool if we expanded.
It's funny because the same people who are like, we shouldn't take Greenland are like, we should conquer Ukraine and crush Russia. I'm like, let's not go to war.
Did you guys see Zelensky interviewed by Lex Friedman?
Really cool. Actually.
Historic. I didn't watch the whole interview. I've watched like 20 minutes,
I
15
heard
minutes.
Friedman cooked him.
Did he?
I don't know.
Held his feet to the fire?
I heard that. I didn't watch
It was actually very good. We're living in a cool time where we literally have a war going on, and that president is giving a 3-hour podcast as well.
Super legit.
And what Lex did, he did it in Ukraine, Russian, and English. They spoke between the three, and he had some AI that made the voices sound literally exactly the same for when it switched and whatnot.
Yeah. Except it was
really
very
cool.
robotic.
It was when Lex talked. It was very.
Lex talked.
That's Lex.
That's
yeah, but it's also it was
a
awesome.
little bit more than normal.
He criticized the AI. He was like, it didn't capture the way we felt when we were talking, but it's effective enough. I guess.
Lex,
What's
we
crazy
know you
is
don't feel.
all the Ukrainians were so mad at Lex Friedman for wanting to do the interview in Russian when he's just trying to do it in the most way where they could express themselves in the best way.
Ukrainians are very touchy right now.
When I went to Ukraine and I posted a video after, I think I had like the whole entire Ukrainian country come after me.
They're very sensitive.
It's sad. Because,
What was the video?
well, I did a full documentary on it, and then I also did a video where I walked around Kyiv and I was like, show like these nice parts of Kyiv, and I was like, this is where your taxis are going. And there's like BMWs and Teslas,
Wow.
and like the Ferris wheel, and people got really mad.
What time of year did you go?
Like 4 or 5 months ago.
Oh, okay. So like fall.
Yeah, and I mean, it's really really sad.
You go to
what's happening.
Maidan?
No, I just went to Kyiv, Busha.
Yeah, Maidan is in Kyiv.
Yeah, then probably I can't remember
You
all
know
the
that big
names.
glass slide, the mall where it's like they got that big.
Oh yeah. I went down there. I'm pretty sure.
Some dudes tried to slide down it, and they like shattered their spines.
What the?
Yeah, it's like a mall in Maidan Square in Kiev, and it's like this steep glass. And there's a video of some dudes like, we're gonna slide down it, and then you hear it, you hear the crunch, and they're like, what are you thinking, dude? It was like 3 stories.
Whoa,
God.
Like straight down?
Yeah, let me see if I'll play to the members only.
Kyiv was an interesting place, and you'd think like people would be very skeptical about talking about the war, but everyone was
I found it.
Very like willing
got
to
a
talk about
filter
what's
on it.
going on.
Were they just exhausted on the war in Kyiv?
Yeah, and it's sad because like there'd be 8 girls and 1 guy, like all like the young men my age are at war, and so I thought it was actually cool in that Lex Friedman interview when Zelensky's talking like, yes, like we will work on something with Trump, because I mean there's gonna get to a point where Russia is gonna have no more middle-aged men or teenagers to go out and fight, and I mean Ukraine's already like
They're already pulling in women.
Yeah,
and 50-year-olds.
I mean, the only people like I obviously saw their teenagers and whatnot, but there's also so many people my age walking around with like 1 leg.
Wow. Well, Russia's bringing in North Koreans, and they're bringing in Houthis. So
are they bringing in Houthis too?
Fact check me on that one. I'm pretty sure I thought they were bringing in Houthis, but I could be wrong about that.
Where are they from?
Yemen.
Oh.
Yeah. Let me get a fact check on that one.
Checking right now.
Something also interesting about the people in Ukraine.
Yep. Russia recruits Yemeni mercenaries to fight in Ukraine.
Yemen.
Russia reportedly using Yemeni fighters recruited through a company linked to the Houthi rebels and to fight in Ukraine.
Wild, dude.
Yep.
What were you gonna say?
Oh, I was just saying like with
they were according to multiple reports, Yemeni men were lured to Russia with promises of a lucrative job and Russian citizenship, only to be coerced into signing military contracts they could not read and sent to fight on the front lines in Ukraine.
Whoa.
Oh my
Sick.
word.
Wild.
Rough.
Wow, that is rough.
Never trust the Russians.
Man, you knew Germany was really losing the war when Hitler started drafting 64-year-olds. I think he raised the draft age up to 64. There's like 14-year-olds. I don't know if it was that. Pretty sure it was super young. And 64-year-old But that was like when the Russians were entering Germany and the Allied forces were entering Western France and stuff.
Let's grab this one. You got Mike Zerosaur says, Tim, did you catch Benny Johnson's videos about homeless people starting fires all over L.A.? I didn't, but we did mention that the other night. We had a story from only a week ago in Bakersfield, in California. Homeless people were setting record amounts of fires. Here we are. I kind of feel like it's very probable that homeless people started these fires.
And they got propane tanks, too. When you go into these homeless encampments, a lot of these people have propane tanks.
Jeez.
And they just start fires out in the street.
Okay, conspiracy theory. Illegally entered the country, militant age men from some foreign hostile country. Maybe they were even Russian. Who knows? They colluded to light a bunch of fires over the course of 2 days in Los Angeles when it's dry, and they wanted it in Runyon.
I mean, the economic damage is tremendous.
Huge. And they don't have to do anything. They just light the spark and walk away. It's crazy.
Well, to be fair, like the humidity is at 0.78, like record low humidity or something. What was that? And what we got Karen Bass, or what are you talking about? We got multiple wildfires. That aerial footage of Los Angeles. Let's pull it up.
Oh, good.
Wow. Wow, man. It's spreading.
Are those little ones? Are those also fires right there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy
Can't hear you, bro.
90 saying it's 90-mile-an-hour winds. Serge is saying. What is that, like high up or like down near the ground?
They're flying in a plane.
No, I mean the winds. Are the winds 90-mile-an-hour winds high up, or are they?
No, it's on the ground. It's blowing the fire.
Really? Yeah. And the fire's contributing to the speed of the wind because of the heat?
No.
You sure?
Yes.
Because it was doing that in the firestorms in Germany. I mean, nuclear bombs will cause massive gusts of wind.
These are the Santa Ana winds. They're an annual thing. It's crazy windy this time of year out there.
Man. 100 mile an hour in Altadena or in La Cañada. That's crazy, man. I got a lot of friends who live down there.
Yeah.
It's like a hurricane. 100 mile an hour was a hurricane.
That's right. It is. They're calling it hurricane force winds.
Yeah.
It's crazy because, I lived in LA for a couple of years. And so, like, Hollywood is not nice. People should understand, like broke people like to live in and around Hollywood.
Yep.
Palisades is wealthy. And you're not. I think Santa Monica is rent controlled, so I knew a lot of young people who had like rent controlled apartments.
That's nice, beautiful
Yeah.
area. Venice I lived in Venice, just south of Santa Monica. Kind of scummy, but super nice.
Venice is super scummy.
Homeless people.
Yeah.
I lived there when they made it law that the homeless people could no longer sleep on the beach in their campers, and they had to pull them all out.
When was that?
Like 2010.
Really?
Yeah.
That's when I was there around then, and everybody was sleeping.
09. Yeah, it was awesome. It was kind of cool that they were in their campers.
They have showers.
Yeah,
They have
there's
public showers right there, and it's not like bathing showers. It's beach showers. So it's like there's like a brick structure with like pipes that come out, and it's just totally open to the public. You walk up and press the thing, and it sprays with water. Yeah. You're not like going in a booth or anything.
I thought it was nice because I was like, well, if there's gonna be homeless people, this is a good place for them to be. But they're just harassing.
Oh, dude, the Bloods and the Crips were there every day at the skate park.
KTLA, the station might have to evacuate.
Whoa. Where's that?
In LA.
Do you know where it's located in the city?
In Hollywood.
Oh, geez. KTLA.
Wow. All right. Citizen7 says, Tim, I spent a few years in Scotland as a preteen. Not a single power line in sight in the sky. Everything was underground, and the view of the sky was pristine. Yeah.
Where was that?
In Scotland.
Scotland.
Oh, dang.
Which, I mean, depending on where it is, it's possible for some things.
Okay, let's start getting...
real quick, Gunface says, California passed a law that says insurers must provide insurance for high-risk areas with price controls. That's why they pulled out of California.
Oh, they pulled out of California totally, which makes perfect sense, Price
dude, we pulled out of California. And that's not a joke.
Zuckerberg just pulled out of California.
Timcast does not contract anyone or hire anybody who lives in California because the laws are so insanely oppressive that we just have nothing to do with it. And I think California still tried coming after us for some reason, and we're like, we don't do any business in California at all. None.
Mines, we did that with Mines, too. We had issues with California. It was weird. Zuckerberg just moved the headquarters, announced he's moving Facebook headquarters from Palo Alto to, I think it was Palo Alto, to Texas.
The whole headquarters?
He's moving, I think that's what he says. He's moving the headquarters to Texas.
I thought he said the moderation team.
No, I think he said the headquarters because he was tired of
they passed this thing about you can't contract people anymore. It's like after a certain amount of contracted gigs they do, they have to be given a full-time position. So we just immediately were like, we will no longer work with anyone out of California.
Oh, and the gig economy was flourishing at that time when they made that stupid law.
I think sports, what website was it? SB Nation was a Vox company, and they fired like 200 writers because they were like, dude, we don't have staff writers. People sell us stories, and we'll pay them for it. And they're like, no, you got to hire them full-time. And it's like,
why do they make business so impossible to do there?
Because they want to burn it all down. Like, here's the thing. Imagine you make birdhouses right in your garage. And then you come to me and you're like, hey, you want to buy a birdhouse? I'm like, sure, I'm going to buy a birdhouse from you. Then California goes, whoa. You have to hire him as an employee. And you're like, what? I only want a birdhouse. Yeah, well, you're buying a birdhouse once a month. And I'm like, I know, I like birdhouses. And like, well, he's an employee now. Okay, sorry, dude, I can't buy birdhouses from you anymore because I'm not hiring you as an employee. And that's basically what they did. And it was funny because the Democrats were the ones who pushed that. The unions did. Because the unions were like, the gig economy is destroying the unions. And then all of these liberals lost their jobs because of it. Sorry. You reap what you sow.
Yep.
All right, we'll grab one more here. Let's see, what do we got? We'll grab this here. What does this say? Alex Lulo says, one thing people forget to notice is that the president talked to us for a lengthy address and we understood him. Yeah, that's a good point.
Am I Biden or Trump?
Trump. My friends, if you haven't already, would you kindly smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, share the show with everyone you know, and more importantly, if you go to youtube.com/Timcast, we've got I got my morning show, 10 a.m., 1 p.m., 3 p.m., 6 p.m., and now we are relaunching the original Timcast show. That is my original video essays that break down the big stories of the day. I used to do it every single day. Then I launched the morning show, and then I decided just to move everything to the morning show and make the Timcast channel the Culture War. But now the Culture War is bigger, and I felt like we needed... doing these video essays with a team and getting more production and an editor on board, I'm like, we can produce a video every day, 7 days a week, deep diving on all these issues, and it's more evergreen, and it gets into the root of these cultural issues, and then we'll do the Culture War on Friday. So go to youtube.com/Timcast, subscribe to that channel, and check out the latest video we put up, breaking down Zuckerberg's fact-checking thing. And then tomorrow, we're going to deep dive into how the wildfires were literally the fault of Democrats. You can follow me on X and Instagram at Timcast. Don't forget, right now, become a member at timcast.com by going to timcast.com, clicking join us. Members only show is coming up in about a minute, and we're going to take your calls as members. It's going to be a lot of fun. My friend, do you want to shout anything out?
Nick Shirley and everything. Thank you so much for having me on.
Nick Shirley with 2 Y's on
X. On X.
When you're going to subscribe.
Nick Shirley on YouTube. I'm going to Greenland on Monday. We're going to go talk to the people in Greenland.
Sick.
What are you going to talk about?
About becoming part of America. See what they want to
say. Yeah.
Love it.
I see what they got to say.
Where you got to fly in from? Canada? Like you fly to Newfoundland and then fly to Greenland or something?
Fly to Iceland and then from Iceland.
Iceland?
There's only 2 places that you can either go in from Copenhagen or from Iceland.
You going to spend any time in Iceland?
No. I'm just going to spend 4 days in Greenland, go hang out with the people down there.
Give yourself a day in Reykjavik, man. It's fun.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting.
Right on.
I mean, I think it'd be a good idea if they became part of the United States.
I agree. Yeah.
And I mean, if we can give billions of dollars to Ukraine, I think we could give $1 billion to Greenland, and each citizen would get around $17,000. I think they'd probably be stoked.
You'd do $5 billion, and everybody gets $100,000. Go ahead, Ian.
Oh, well, follow me at Ian Crossland. It's good to be back. Good to be here. Thanks, Phil. Catch you later. Bye, everyone.
I am Phil That Remains on Twix, where you can subscribe to my page. I'm Phil That Remains Official on Instagram. The band is All That Remains, and we have a new record coming out January 31st. So go to Spotify and go ahead and pre-save it. You want to check out some of the singles on the record, you can check out Forever Cold, Let You Go, No Tomorrow, or Divine on YouTube, Amazon Music, Apple Music, Spotify, Pandora, and Deezer. And don't forget, The Left Lane is for Crime.
We will see you all over at timcast.com in about 1 minute. Thanks for hanging out.